San Antonio. The Sonics late out of 5 this year, but the 5th game was in L.A. this past week, and Seattle romped. In the other bracket, the defending champion Rockets open at Utah, and the Blazers start in Phoenix. And we're back in a moment.
It's not just how you play the game, it's how you call for the ball.
Come on, baby, I got him. Give me the rock, baby. We got him. For the road. Yo. Look at that, baby. Come on, hit me off. Hit me off. Ah! Yeah.
If you're talking my game,
You don't know, you better ask somebody.
you're talking Foot Locker.
When it's time to go to the extreme, go one-on-one with every threat in the NBA. Then get their numbers nailed with special insert cards, rising stars, talent on fire, clear-cut, a-see-through view of the best in the game. Dynasty meets destiny. It all comes together. Stadium Club.
He was the most powerful hitter of all time. Was it that perfectly honed piece of hickory that led to all those home runs? Or was it something else? Was it the chewy caramel, the nougat, and the crunchy roasted peanut-packed power of a Baby Ruth? Maybe.
And here's the pitch, and there it goes. Oh, my, how does he do it?
Maybe. Baby Ruth from Nestle. This baby gets you going.
When I tell people I'm a wrestler, they ask me if I'm one of those guys they see on TV with the face paint and the funny names. And they ask me if I jump up and down and climb up on the ropes and all that. Sure, it's just like that.
A look now at the best games and performances of the week, starting with the Spurs trying to sweep a home-and-home from the Nuggets. Early on, Dikembe Mutombo taking it to the Admiral, muscling inside. He had 17 points and 16 rebounds, but this game belonged to Avery Johnson. Spectacular in scoring a career-high 29. He also dished out 9 assists as the Spurs took command with an 18-2 fourth-quarter run. Robinson will add the exclamation point here, and the Spurs continue to roll toward the best record in the league. Next up, Orlando looking for a much-needed road win against the Bullets. Shaquille O'Neal sat this one out with a sore left knee, but there was absolutely nothing wrong with the dynamic duo out of Michigan.
Oh, the Fab Five connection there.
The Magic battled back behind Penny Hardaway's 35, but the Bullets had a chance to win as time ran down. Weber's disappointment didn't last long. The Bullets controlled the overtime. Doug Overton, a career-high 30. And Orlando's road woes continued. To the Bradley Center, the Bucks trying to stave off elimination, and it would be a long, long night for the visiting Celtics. Milwaukee won this dogfight going away. Glenn Robinson and Vin Baker combined for 53. But with last night's defeat against Cleveland, the Bucks are heading home early for the summer. The performance of the week took place in Salt Lake, where fans were treated to a familiar jazz combo.
Malone for Stockton. Stockton grab to Karl Malone. Push it up. Bit of a go. It's gone. Stockton, loud throw. Oh, there's Karl Malone for a hammer. What a play. Stockton, Karl, go to the hoop. Here we go. Mailman, 45 points.
And Stockton with 15 assists, a heart-stopper for New York at the Hive. First to scare, Patrick Ewing limps off with a pulled hamstring. He played just 19 minutes, didn't come back. Then the game right down to the wire. Nick Flynn, and by the way, Patrick Ewing still has 2 wishes left. Finally, this question: how many lead changes can you have with 105 remaining? As the Spurs and Mavs went back and forth, you wondered just who would get the last word.
Remember, a hoop wins it for the Mavericks. Kidd going to the hoop. Blocked by Robinson. McLeod.
The Mavs thought they did, but Mashburn gets called for a questionable foul with a half-second remaining. Sean Elliott then sinks the 2 free throws, and the Spurs clinch the NBA's best record. So the Spurs are beating everybody in sight. They're 61-20 now. That's the best record in the league. They've won 20 of their last 22, and a dozen of those without Dennis Rodman.
That's right, Bob. And sometimes when Dennis shows up, he's not really there. As in the Dallas game, he only played 9 minutes and got 4 rebounds. Coach Bob Hill thought he just wasn't in the mood to play. Hill told me before Rodman came back that he had to be ready to earn his minutes or he wasn't going to play. He feels that if you can't control Dennis Rodman, there is no control. Then the two met before the Clipper game and seemed to iron out their problems because Dennis played 25 minutes, got 17 rebounds. Interestingly, Rodman's former team, the Pistons, already are interviewing for a new coach and personnel director, even though Don Chaney and Bill McKinney have not officially been given their ejection notices. Mike Krzyzewski was offered the coaching job and declined. Chuck Daly was asked if he'd like to be the GM. He also declined. Wednesday or Thursday, Doug Collins was brought into Detroit and interviewed for 4 hours. Don Nelson is the next one on the list. And if Chris Ford becomes available, if the Celtics get rid of him, they're interested in him. Bill Laimbeer, they'd love to have as a coach, but they feel he's 2 or 3 years away because he has a business that he's really involved in. And speaking of the Pistons' baddest boy, the Phoenix Suns of all teams are adopting his defensive attitude. Danny Manning told me the other day that they've been talking about the last week setting a defensive tone for the playoffs. He feels they have 4 guys that can play the pivot: Danny Shays, Joe Klein, A.C. Green, and Wayman Tisdale. And when people come into the middle, they feel they have to knock people down, not hurt them, but take hard fouls. And they feel that that will translate to the offensive end, that kind of aggressiveness.
So taken at its most extreme, then, you might say they have 23 fouls to give between the 4 guys.
They have plenty to give. And with the Suns before, they relied on stealing the ball, blocking an occasional shot to be their defense. You know, now they've shifted gears. They're thinking about taking charges. They're thinking about body checking. And any close game, because of Barkley's savvy, the Suns are going to win.
Well, coming up, we'll take a closer look at the Bulls and the Hornets again, a playoff preview today before they go at it for keeps next week. We're back with that after these messages.
Well-known NBA superstar. You, not so well-known card collector. Typically the superstar towards fame and glory. Now there's Collector's Choice Crash the Game from Upper Deck. 1 in 8 packs has a crash card like this. If your crash player gets 1,000 rebounds, you're the one who scores. This year, they're not just playing for the title, they're playing for you.
Hey, Sean, hit the board or hit the road? Crave the taste, crave the good time. Hear the crunch, that crunch is calling you. It's so great, can't wait. Taste those toppings, there's no stopping. Stouffer's Pizza, let me come closer to home.
When the pizza crunch craving hits, there's only one place to head. Home for Stouffer's French bread pizza.
Stouffer's, nothing comes closer to home.
I don't ask anyone to do anything I don't do. You do your job, I'll do mine. Short, baggy, I've seen it all. How many times do I have to tell you guys to put this stuff in the hand? Take this stuff, please. Of course, a lot of the younger guys come to me. Okay, gentlemen, I think you know what to do. You guys remember Troops? I'm a caring kind of guy. I still get calls from some of the old guys. I got something to tell you. This is my last chase. I'm quitting the force. Early retirement? I'm going to try out for the NBA. What? Yeah, the NBA. I'm fit. I box out well, and I never lost at the video game.
Start with the video game. Work on the fadeaway.
You guys want a donut? I love this stuff.
NBC Sunday.
We have no food left.
Hunger
I'm going after it.
can make a man desperate.
You killed it, and now you want to butcher, right?
I'm not gonna die!
What if the only thing left to eat
We're all dead.
is hungry too?
I'm begging you now.
The Hunger and Earth 2 movie, 7/6 Central, NBC Sunday.
Here's Larry Johnson of the Hornets warming up for the Bulls in Chicago. Johnson with a solid year, and important that he's missed only one game as we go to the final weekend of the regular season. The Hornets return to the playoffs after having some success 2 years ago, but missing the postseason last year when they were plagued by injuries. Today's Charlotte-Chicago game is one of several this weekend featuring playoff previews. Atlanta plays at Indiana, and Utah meets Houston tomorrow. But we'll focus on the Hornets and the Bulls, and so Peter Bessie has a closer look.
We're trying to see what we can expose this team with.
Pretty much wanted to send a message and set the tone. We want to win this ball game. Very desperate way.
The Bulls and Hornets opened the season in Chicago with the Bulls christening the United Center with a win. Then Charlotte took the next two matchups at the Hive. The last meeting was back in February, but none of that matters. Because now Michael's back, and the Bulls are charging, winners of 11 of their last 12.
The bottom line is that they can't be beat. We've beaten them this year. We've beaten them without Michael. You know, they're an even better team now with Michael, but they still can't be beat. That's without a doubt.
Pippen brings us a lot of competitive juices as a basketball player, and when you double that with a Jordan type of a player which likes to win, likes to compete, likes to play hard every moment he's on the floor, it picks everybody's level up.
The Bulls might have Michael back, but they still have problems matching up with the Hornets' big men. Dream Team 2 teammates Larry Johnson and Alonzo Mourning. The Bulls will try to slow Mourning with a trio of 7-footers. Will Perdue, Bill Wennington, and Luke Longley.
That's 18 fouls. And I'm sure they could try to use all of them. So you got Wennington, Perdue, and Longley. That's 3 big 7-footers.
The thing you try to do is limit the amount of easy shots he gets. Try to limit the number of layups, and if necessary, you might have to foul and send it to the line.
He comes in hard as our centers. He plays hard. He's a real warrior. And the fortunate thing about it is we have 3 centers and a lot of fouls to throw at him to make him have to do that work.
We're going to do whatever we can to try to contain their big guys, but we don't want to over-focus on one individual.
The Hornets might be tempted to focus on Jordan, but with Scottie Pippen and Tony Kukoč, the Bulls have plenty of offensive weapons, while the Hornets are without injured Scott Burrell, who would have covered Jordan.
They're great open court players. They, if you give them complete freedom of the court, then they become so difficult to guard. You've got to cut the court off. That's easier said than done.
Michael is so much of a distraction on the court that you lose track of your man trying to help your teammates out.
Those guys create so much and draw so much attention that there are a lot of times where I'm left wide open, and it's easy to make shots if you're wide open. But the Hornets have secured a secret weapon to debug the Bulls. Assistant coach Johnny Bach, an expert defensive strategist, left Chicago's brain trust and joined Alan Bristow in Charlotte.
It certainly gives us the edge. I mean, our scouting reports are certainly thorough with Johnny, and he's been with the Bulls for so long, and then coming over to us, and he certainly knows their personnel. And I'm still trying to get out of him how to play Michael Jordan. And every time I sit down with him, he gives me a different answer.
Well, what is the difference between finishing first in the Central, as Indiana did, or a very close second, as Charlotte did? Indiana gets Atlanta. Charlotte gets the Bulls with a late-season ringer named Michael Jordan.
Unbelievable, unbelievable. Charlotte had a chance to arrive a couple years ago when they knocked Boston out of the playoffs. They're going to get a chance to arrive again. And this game will be a preview of what's going to happen next week.
The most glaring thing I see with the Bulls is that what's happened to B.J. Armstrong. Not that he's complaining, but he's got to be wondering about how come he's not getting the minutes or the shots that he used to get. If he's not wondering, I am anyway.
Hey, here's something to look at, too. Scott Burrell's already out. Bogues is hobbling. Mourning's hobbling as the playoffs approach. Interesting matchup situation. B.J. Armstrong doesn't handle the ball. Pippen or Jordan bring it up. That means that Bogues, if he's healthy, he would guard Armstrong, cuts into the turnovers because B.J. won't be handling the ball. And how is Hersey Hawkins going to guard Michael Jordan. Questions, 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 my friends. The Hornets and the Bulls are about to get underway. We'll send it to Tom Hammond and Bill Walton for the call. At halftime, we'll bring you a conversation with Magic Johnson. The NBA on NBC continues right after these messages from your local station.
Hunter is back and in love.
Marry me.
But when his fiancée is mysteriously murdered, he wants justice and vengeance.
Who the hell are you?
A madman on a killing spree.
Every day you don't catch me, there'll be one more girl.
Hunter breaks all the rules.
I want to kill you.
Because this one's personal. Hunter, the movie, NBC next Sunday.
It's the face of a hero. A face that's seen it all before. And now the face of Bank of America's Visa photo card. With your picture and signature on the front, it's harder to misuse, even if it's lost or stolen. This face belongs to just one person. So does this credit card. Bank of America photo card. Visit your branch today.
For centuries, the people of New Guinea have used a form of wireless communication that is simple, reliable, and convenient. So they can always stay in touch. Our geography is a bit larger, and our tribe includes all of humankind. Introducing AT&T Wireless Services, technology that sets you free. Call 1-800-IMAGINE.
Over 15,000 of the #1 selling trucks in the Northwest. F-Series, Explorers, and Windstars, and Rangers for just $199 a month for 24 months. With a $500 incentive from Ford. Get the truck you want at the price you want, only at your local Northwest Ford dealer. But hurry, it's peak season for Ford trucks.
Terrorism strikes home. Inside Edition reports from the scene.
This is the game that the opponents look forward to their whole lives. They want to sit back and say, when they're retired, hey, we busted Jordan.
Jordan for the win. Yes! I said it again! He is now back!
You know, one time Michael didn't complain, but made the observation that Tony Kukoč really wasn't into the game, and almost like an assistant coach, he said, you know, we've got to get him more involved. It looked like he really tried to take pains to do that.
Jordan, he taught all these guys how to play ball. And he taught Scottie Pippen. It wasn't like Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant came out of college basketball. It's like these great players, and all of a sudden they teamed up with Jordan. They came out as raw talent.
You know, the guy that may be key for Charlotte's chances beating Chicago is Dale Curry.
A guy like Dale Curry can get in a rhythm, and he is the prettiest shooter, the smoothest shooter. When he gets his feet set, if his feet are good enough, now you're talking about a guy who can change a series.
That's great, Bill. Let's look at that play tomorrow at the Trucks.
Okay, hook up Tom and Bill for the opening here, guys.
5, get Jordan warming up under the desk.
Okay, videotape. Re-QA and Re-QX for the opening here. Stand by, everybody. Coming to red next time. Here we go. Stand by, red.
5 to red. 4, 3.
And roll red. And up on it.
This is the NBA on NBC. Today, it's the Charlotte Hornets versus the Chicago Bulls.
The statue of Michael Jordan like a magnet for basketball fans outside Chicago's United Center. His greatness already legend. And now, once again, Michael Jordan in the flesh. Michael is back, and so are the Chicago Bulls. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Chicago. Tom Hammond and Bill Walton for this playoff preview. These two teams meet in the first round of the playoffs next week. Problems for the Hornets today, though. Alonzo Mourning and Muggsy Bogues both out with injuries. That puts a lot of pressure on Larry Johnson.
They've said for years about the Charlotte Hornets, you can't win with Muggsy Bogues at guard. But what the Charlotte Hornets are finding out right now is you can't win without him, and that puts everything on Larry Johnson's broad shoulders. Statistically, he'll be able to make up for a lot of the losses of Mourning and Bogues. Most importantly, though, he's going to have to inspire his teammates and appeal to their pride to get them to play probably the greatest game of their lives if they're going to have a chance against this surging Bull team today.
This might appear to be a meaningless game, but Michael Jordan told us it was anything but that.
Didn't mean anything in standings, but it means a lot mentally when you have to face this team in the playoffs. I think they're a young team looking for some respect, and we're a veteran team in a sense, but yet we're not the same team of 2 years. So in essence, we have to make a statement that, hey, we deserve respect too. And I think it's a mental advantage, a mental edge that we're chasing from this game tonight when we face this team in the playoffs. We can come out and play well and win against this team, then in the back of their mind say, this team is not that bad. You know, everybody's writing them off, and they're not the same team 2 years ago. But so what? They're a better team than most people anticipate.
Chicago's inspiration has to be to hammer the Hornets very hard. Don't give them any sense of confidence that they can go back next weekend in Charlotte and win a very important mental game for the Chicago Bulls today.
Michael's shooting here at the United Center, though, continues to be a problem. In fact, taking extraordinary measures today. Aren't they, Jim Gray?
Well, indeed they are, Tom. You know, Michael Jordan's shooting just 35% here at the new United Center. Across the street, he shot 53%, so he's down 18% since just coming over here. So they're trying to make the feeling a little bit more like it was across the street. And exactly what they've done is an old security guard today brought back Michael Jordan's old chair. He sat in his chair about 400 times. They've changed the number, put number 45 on it, so they're hoping it'll rub off on Michael just a little bit. I asked Michael what he thought about his old chair. He said, at this point, I hope anything helps. Tom?
All right, Jim, and we'll be back to Chicago where the Michael Returns Tour continues.
I'm back.
How's it going? Great! Yeah! Hey, listen, did you get near the bar? Yeah. Would you get me a light ice? No problem!
Miller Lite Ice. To the taste that goes all out when you're around.
Hey! Never made it to the bar! No! No, I found a waitress!
Miller Lite Ice. The night is young.
There's a new direction in touring luxury sedans. One that raises levels of luxury and refinement to new heights. Introducing the new Acura TL series. If you're ready for a change, this is the turning point.
In the preseason, my back hurt. My arms hurt. My legs hurt. My brain hurt. Even my teeth hurt. But come the regular season, it's all worthwhile. 'Cause I get to hurt right back.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Miller Lite Ice. The night is young. By Acura, who invites you to test drive the exciting new TL series. And by Castrol Syntex, the full synthetic motor oil that protects in ways other oils can't.
Welcome back to Chicago. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for today's game. First for the visiting Charlotte Hornets. With Muggsy Bogues out, that means they will go with Greg Sutton in the backcourt, his third straight start, to go with Hersey Hawkins. Up front, Robert Perry starts for Alonzo Mourning, 41 years old, with Larry Johnson and the rookie Darren Hancock on the wings. The coach, Alan Bristow, already set a record for most wins in franchise history, looking for that magical 50th win today. Chicago Bulls will line up this way to start the game. In the backcourt, it'll be B.J. Armstrong. His numbers down since the return of Michael Jordan. Jordan averaging 27 a game in the 15 contests since his return. 7-footer Will Perdue is the center. Scottie Pippen and Tony Kukoč are the forwards. And the coach, Phil Jackson, already has won 3 NBA championships and suddenly right back in the championship mix this season. Michael Jordan ready to go, and the Hornets beset with injuries all season long. How important are they? Well, today with Mourning, Scott Burrell, Muggsy Bogues, and Michael Adams out, they're missing over 50 points and 20 rebounds a game, not to mention 16 assists. Jim Clark, Jake O'Donnell, and Derek Stafford are the officials for today's game. Bill Walton has checked out the basketball. Was that all right?
The ball is in perfect condition. The floor is level. The wind is blowing straight down. Perfect conditions for basketball.
And right on the eyes of the Bull, Robert Parrish and Will Perdue to get the game underway. They tell me the track is also fast.
Good start, critical for Charlotte. Chicago has been like a lightning bolt out of the blocks in the last few games.
Charlotte controlling the opening tap. Pippen matched up on Johnson. Hawkins checked now by Kukoč. Let's see how those matchups evolve during the course of the game. Parrish shoots over Perdue.
The Chief, who's played more games than anyone in the history of the NBA, with the exception of Hall of Famer Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, knows about winning big, tough games on the road and knows the value of hitting your first shot.
And Darren Hancock, a quick reach-in foul, first foul of the game. Armstrong checked by Sutton.
Triple post offense.
Perdue threw it away. Sutton leads the Charlotte break. 3-on-1. Hawkins lays it up and in.
Even though the Hornets got the fast break opportunity that time, that's not the tempo that Alan Bristow wants in this matchup with Chicago.
Hancock will try to check Jordan. He'll get a lot of help. Jordan shoots over it. Stroke looked good on that one. Michael Jordan on the board.
That just happened to be the exact spot he started warming up at this morning, Tom, and you and I were chatting with him beforehand. A very friendly mood this morning.
Was indeed. Parrish with an offensive board. Hawkins, he can't hit it. And Pippen taps it to Kukoč. Kukoč in a hurry.
Look for Hawkins to be much more assertive as the ball movement. Terrific for Chicago.
Kukoč couldn't finish after the great pass from Pippen. Hawkins for 3. An easy board for Pippen. He brings it out on the dribble.
He needs to keep taking those shots, Hawkins. Put pressure on Jordan defensively. Turnover Bulls. But if you go away from Michael Jordan, you go away from Scottie Pippen, you're just going to allow them to rest. The problem is you usually fail when you go at them. Jordan and Pippen out of sync on that exchange.
Johnson can shoot the 3. Missed that one, though, and Perdue all alone for the rebound.
First possession, Charlotte comes down, penetrates, and dishes to Parrish for an easy jumper. Nothing but net.
And Kukoč left wide open under the basket for the easy bucket.
Ever since, Charlotte's possessions have been nothing but three-point bombs, Hawkins and LJ. Get it to the hoop, the defense will collapse, and then you got spot-up shooters.
Game tied at 4. Hawkins got a step, dished it back to Parrish, rimmed out. Jordan the board.
Jordan's rebound numbers have been way up. Beautiful interior passing.
And foul called on Hersey Hawkins. His first.
Michael Jordan, an incredible left-handed pass. Never touches the ball with his right hand on that pass. Zips it right in. John Stockton cannot do it any better than that.
So Tony Kukoč will step to the line. Kukoč, the one that Michael Jordan singled out to need to be more involved in the game in the first contest since he had come back.
Stats this season. This is just his second year. Rookie year a year ago. Quiet numbers then. Solid this year as he gets more accustomed to the NBA ball. But his biggest problem now for Kukoč is going to have to learn how to play without the ball. Because now the ball is in Jordan's hands. And Kukoč has always been a player who's had it throughout.
Sutton off the glass. Nice penetrating move by Greg Sutton. His first basket, breaking an 0 for 5 Hornet streak. Kukoč spinning on Hawkins to lay it in.
Charlotte has always been a team that's been plagued with a short lineup. Against this Bull team, they're giving up size at every position, including B.J. Armstrong. That's a bad sign in a game where height does mean something.
Hancock's fall away. Parrish the offensive board and the putback. 4 points for the Chiefs as Charlotte gets a rare offensive rebound, one of the worst teams in the league in that category.
Purdue just not boxing out, anticipating blocking shots, getting rebounds. They're just going to post up Hawkins all game long with a 6'11" Kukoč. I look eye to eye with him. I played center. I would have loved to have Percy Hawkins guard me for a couple of times down the court.
Kukoč has exploited that mismatch for 7 points.
Kukoč, who never went to college, never played college basketball, played at the club level internationally, just overpowers Hawkins. They need to double down a lot quicker than Sutton was able to get there.
B.J. Armstrong has committed a Chicago foul, sending Greg Sutton to the line. Sutton from Oral Roberts in his second season, starting his 3rd straight game today in the absence of Bogues. And over his last half-dozen games, he's averaged 14 points. So he has been able to step up and prove he belongs.
He is a big-time scorer, Greg Sutton, out of Oral Roberts, one of the nation's great scorers in history of college basketball, the NAIA level. What he's not, though, he's not the passer, penetrator, and fast break creator that Muggsy Bogues is.
Hornets up 1. Purdue wide open. Rebounded by Hawkins.
The ball movement for Chicago has been nothing short of spectacular.
Hawkins with a penetration and suddenly darts back into the basket for his 4th point. Jordan dishes to Kukoč. Baseline collision and an offensive foul. Tony Kukoč is first.
Such a temptation for players when Jordan is going for his move to stand and watch. There's 2 guys on him. Get moving. Kukoč, feet planted firmly on the ground, has to start his move after the defense has already started to recover.
At one point, Charlotte was 0 for 5, but they've hit 3 of their last 4 since that point. And Larry Johnson just loses it out of bounds. Like tried to catch it with one hand a little nonchalantly and couldn't hold on.
Cannot be careless in this game for Charlotte, which every possession will be critical. Cannot try to stab it with the fork out there. You got to clamp it with the vice.
Hawkins now matched up on Jordan. B.J. Armstrong missed right underneath. That's 2 layups the Bulls have blown.
But the type of shots that Chicago's been getting, a beautiful ball movement, the type of action as Hawkins air balls from behind the arc.
But Larry Johnson is able to muscle it through. First basket. Jordan to run out against the Chiefs.
That looked like the game that Michael Jordan scored 63 points against the Celtics in the now closing Boston Garden.
4 points for Michael. Chief tries to answer. And Purdue the board.
Purdue, much criticized, doing a solid job in the middle.
Armstrong for 3. He was out early practicing those 3-point shots. Couldn't get that one down.
Chief quickly in the middle, but too slow on the entry pass.
Reverse pivot. Missed shot again. Armstrong pull up. Pippen. Beautiful pass. First basket for Scotty.
The matchup, Pippen, Kukoč, Jordan against Hancock, Hawkins, and Larry Johnson.
Larry Johnson takes it to the basket.
It's just size, strength, and quite possibly skill at every position there. Chicago needs a timeout.
And they take it here with the Hornets holding a 3-point lead at the 5:30 mark, first quarter. Michael Jordan with his 4th point over the Chiefs.
Scottie Pippen getting his points on the offensive board, failing to block out. Too much size, too much strength, great timing, great players.
love this game. Right here. This game here. I'm married to it. I love it.
At the Honda factory in Ohio, every Accord is given a bath before it's painted. A zinc phosphate bath. It helps fight rust and corrosion over the life of the car. Now, why do we go to such lengths? That's why.
Don't miss Foreman's historic title defense on HBO.
It's going to be a great fight. Foreman's got some punch. Hey, remember when he knocked out Frazier in 73?
No. But did you see that shot that dropped Norton in 74?
Never saw it. But remember what he did to Cooney back in 90?
No, I don't remember.
How could you guys not remember some of the biggest fights in boxing history?
We were out.
Foreman versus Schultz, live, coming soon, only on HBO.
Didn't I knock you out in 81?
The Bud Light Amateur Beach Challenge. They're lean. They're mean.
Oh, they're killing us. Yeah. How about 2 out of 3?
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down,
What's wrong with her?
make it a Bud Light.
Welcome back to Chicago. One thing about Michael Jordan since his return, he has not been shy about putting it up. You see the number of shots he has taken, and we asked Phil Jackson if the team had adjusted yet to Michael Jordan.
Well, I think we're playing very well with him back. Our second unit is playing probably better team basketball than our first unit. Our first unit still kind of looks to see what they can do for Michael. I've got to convince him all the time. He will find his way through the group regardless and emerge, because that's the way he plays. And if you keep him as part of the system, he'll be fine, and everything will work out great. So the ball stops occasionally, but when that ball does move, and when the ball is being passed around, they've done it extremely well. And for periods of 5 or 6 minutes, in some quarters, they've looked unbeatable.
Shaq is the league leader at over 20 shots per game. Jordan, 3.5 more shots now, but certainly not enough games to qualify. Who's going to tell Michael Jordan to stop shooting? Certainly not the defense.
Larry Johnson. 6 points for Larry Johnson as he hits. Tony Kukoč has made 4 straight baskets for the Bulls. There's a steal. LJ took it away from Kukoč.
Johnson and Parrish are playing the type of game as Sutton pulls the trigger too quickly. Jordan on the break. Watch out.
3-pointer. Came out of there. Sutton chases it down.
Parrish and Johnson playing the type of game that Charlotte needs. The rest of the guys need to play better. Like
Hancock,
that.
wow, with a left hand. Darren Hancock, the rookie from Kansas, showing us he can go with either hand, his first basket of the game.
But they just continue to post up Kukoč.
Jordan with another outside miss. Sutton with a save. Hornets coming right back. All 5 Hornets have scored.
It's also the type of shots that Jordan takes now as opposed to the easier shots he used to get with the dunks and the fast break layups generated from their pressing defense. Hancock across the lane. Purdue just opens the gates. You've got to make a man change direction. Purdue, who has improved dramatically, needs a few more steps.
Charlotte gets David Wingate and Kenny Gaddison into the game.
No double team.
Wingate matched up against Jordan that time. Left Armstrong open for the 3. Sutton doubled, and Armstrong burned it.
But B.J. Armstrong suffering from the fact he doesn't get as many shots as he used to now that Jordan is back. He also doesn't look for his shot nearly as much as he did a year ago when he was an Eastern Conference All-Star selection for the first time in his career.
Do you sometimes see the Bulls sort of standing around to see what Michael Jordan will do as Wingate hits?
I certainly do. And when you're playing like Scottie Pippen plays and knows how to play with Jordan, when you're playing with a great player, you have to play better and harder than you would imagine playing when he's not there. Because the games are so much more difficult as Purdue makes a beautiful defensive play.
Takes off the entry pass and hits Armstrong off the break. Purdue made the play defensively and with the outlet pass.
Scottie Pippen still can finish as well as anyone. Just splits the defenders on the fly. That's the type of play where Gaddison there has to finish off the block, and nothing LJ can do to finish off this defensive stand.
There's a new direction in touring luxury automobiles. One with flawless workmanship, a rich leather-trimmed interior, and exceptional performance. For everyone who's been searching for the perfect car, Acura introduces the TL Series.
Mix it up. All block, baby. Like they can't take much defense, baby. You know what I'm saying? Never could, never will. Ah! Taking into the well? Got to be bigger than that.
No shot, no shot.
Don't
no
give me
shot.
that, man.
What you got?
You know how we do this in school.
Oh, here we go, here we go. There it is. There it is.
With 33% more carbos than Gatorade, it's Powerade.
Here we go.
Sure, Gold MasterCard has at least a $5,000 credit line. You can buy all kinds of things, but you can't buy time. Well, I don't know. You could buy plane tickets and fly across 5 time zones, and it'll be even earlier than when you left. You can even go to Switzerland, and that's a great place to buy time. But wherever you go, you won't have to waste your time looking for a great exchange rate, because with MasterCard, a great exchange rate is exactly what you'll get. So I guess Gold MasterCard really can buy you time. Just remember to set your watch back. Watch back. Now how's that for a useful card? Gold MasterCard. It's more than a gold card. It's smart money.
McDonald's presents the greatest matchup in basketball, Charles and Taz. Sylvester and Wowie. Wowie and Wowie.
Collect all the matchups on McDonald's NBA Looney Tunes All-Star Cups. Buy any extra value meal and for 39 cents more, supersize it and get a free cup for a limited time. Break for yours today.
Wedgie and Woldwater. Gracious, Michael and Michael?
I thought you retired. McDonald's NBA Looney Tunes All-Star Showdown Cup.
Steven Seagal, Kelly LeBrock, they threaten his family. Sunday, he's out for revenge.
You better dial 911.
Hard to Kill, NBC Sunday.
Larry Johnson, a half dozen points for the Hornets. He's not only an all-star player, he's an entrepreneur. Larry Johnson recently opened the 6001 Hair Salon in Charlotte, named for the address. It's a place where you can get your hair styled, or you can buy Muggsy Bogues' book, for that matter. Both men and women go there. Why a barbershop? It was important in his youth.
You know, I spent all my time at the barbershop because that's where all the guys hung out. Plus, you know, it was a beauty salon right next door, so you can watch all the ladies walk in and out getting their hair done. So we had a good time spending time at the barbershop.
Now, do you ever take up the clippers yourself?
No, unless they get a scalp rub. If they come in and want a scalp rub, I can do that with no problem.
And for the uninitiated, Scott Burrell is bald, has all his hair shaved off. There's a three from Tony Bennett, who just entered the game, giving some long-range firepower, just activated recently, and putting it through from three-point range.
Alan Bristow quickly to his bench. Some scorers out there, Del Curry and Bennett. Gaddison to anchor the middle.
Michael Jordan with his 6 points.
Jordan hit his first 2 shots, missed 3 in a row, and then just connects with that medium-range jumper.
Del Curry's also again. He misses a tray. Curry entering at the last time out. No look to LJ. Kept the ball away from Purdue and connected on his 8th point of the game.
Del Curry able to recover. Curry just back in the lineup after 3 weeks out with a sprained ankle. Not totally 100%, but still quick enough to chase down the long rebound. Triple post offense, Jordan at the high post.
Against Wingate, who hand checks him.
That jump shot, as pretty as it gets in the history of basketball, allows him to get to the hoop. You knock down some of those, then they have to come up and challenge you. But so few of the players, Tom, are ever willing to get up in Jordan's face because nobody wants to be posterized at the hoop.
Bulls down 3. Jordan from outside, it rims out. Wingate the rebound. An odd lineup for the Hornets. In fact, when Alvin Bristow looks at his bench, it's kind of like going to the video store on Saturday night. There's not much to choose from. Wingate. 3-second violation.
Solid patience by Will Perdue. Just standing up over the top. He's got probably a full foot in height over David Wingate, who pumps, nothing there. Jordan comes down, blocks the ball anyway.
Joe Wolf in for the Hornets, giving Larry Johnson a break. Johnson goes to the bench with 8 points.
Phil Jackson now has to decide what he's going to do. He's already taken Kukoč out.
Armstrong fakes Bennett to get open for his shot, then couldn't finish it, and Wolf boards.
Alvin Bristow is not going to go with his regulars for major minutes today. I would look for Phil Jackson to counter with a similar strategy, but he's going to let Bristow make the first move, and Bristow already has.
Gaddison bricks one.
What a tip by Jordan, just tapping it out to start the break.
Pete Myers. And the trailer Purdue from Myers.
Charlotte, which was developed into one of the league's best defensive teams, anchored by Alonzo Mourning, just giving up backdoor layup cuts time and time again.
Closing seconds of the first period in Chicago. Gaddison can't get it down with the left hand. Pippen. They can hold for the final shot.
They'll isolate Pippen, spread the floor, let him go one-on-one against Joe Wolf, which would appear and be a mismatch.
Pippen trying to save it, does to Wolf. Here's Bennett wide open, racing the clock, and he beat it with a layup. Just before the horn, Bennett gets 2 more for the Hornets. And at the end of one, Charlotte with the lead. Michael Jordan hitting only 3 of 7 shots for his 6 points. It's Charlotte 29, Chicago 26. After the first period, you're watching the NBA on NBC.
The car on the right was filled with Castrol Syntec, a full synthetic oil, the other with conventional oil. They were then drained and started without oil to prove a point. You see, Syntec has a unique molecular structure that bonds to engine parts. Lab tests show it leaves a layer of protection far stronger than conventional oil. And if Syntec protects this well now, imagine if you leave it in. Castrol Syntec protects in ways other oils can't. Try Castrol Syntec, now also available in the 10W30.
We've already put together quite a chapter for ourselves in racing history. Of course, another page or 2 wouldn't hurt.
This isn't Hollywood. This is the Army. A place that prepares you to think, to act, to be a part of the real world. A world where change is rapid, where technology keeps expanding. By the year 2000, there'll be as many computers as people. So get ready for tomorrow in the high-tech army of today. Because we've already begun the 21st century in America's Army.
In this dirty old part of the city where the sun refused to shine, people tell me there ain't no use in trying.
Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft. The cold one.
We gotta get out of this place.
You know the beer, you know the taste. With Miller Genuine Draft, the world's a very cool place.
For me and you.
You're watching the
NBA on NBC.
Welcome back to the United Center. I'm Jim Gray. As we begin the second quarter, I'm joined by Muggsy Bogues, the fine point guard for the Charlotte Hornets. Muggsy, you're missing your third game today. You got a badly bruised bone behind your left knee. Will you play tomorrow? And more importantly, will you be ready for the playoffs when you go against the Bulls next week?
Well, I'll definitely be ready for the playoff, but for tomorrow, it's going to be a game time decision, and I'm just trying to take care and make sure that I feel comfortable enough to be out there trying to give it a go.
So much has been said and written about Michael Jordan's comeback and now the displacing of the Hornets because Jordan is back. How do you guys approach this series, and how do you feel you will match up now with Jordan back?
Well, we think we match up pretty well with him. He's one of the greatest players ever play the game, but we got to get beyond that. We're playing against the Chicago Bulls, and Michael a big factor of that. We just got to take each guy on that team and try to break them down and try to do some things defensively for us to continue to play our up-tempo game.
Sure looked a heck of a lot easier about a month ago, didn't it?
It sure did, but you got to be ready for any type of challenge.
Muggsy, feel better. We look forward to seeing you in the playoffs.
Thanks a lot.
All right, Tom.
This was Muggsy's first injury, Tom, to his legs. He's been saddled by a sore hand, but he's very, very concerned about this. He was not moving well. I don't know about tomorrow for Muggsy Bogues because he is so key. Another week off will do great. You don't get better overnight from a deep bone bruise.
Out of bounds, it'll go to Charlotte, and of course Alonzo Mourning also is missing in action today. He banged his knee against Patrick Ewing in the Knicks Thursday night. He should be back for the playoffs, no problem.
Very physical game. The Knicks' surprising comeback win after Ewing goes out, after Charles Smith fouls out.
Look out. Charlotte turnover. Michael Jordan out of the game at the moment. The Bulls have Steve Kerr with Tony Kukoč, Pete Myers, Luke Longley, and Scottie Pippen on the floor.
Longley in the post.
Wingate with a steal, racing against Kerr, who commits the foul. First foul on Steve Kerr of Chicago.
They're going to give the Hornets 2 shots on the breakaway rule here. Chicago just passing up, just going to the hoop. You got Kukoč passed up an easy penetration. Longley.
And you see Wingate was ahead of Kerr. Breakaway foul. Then he misses the free throw. Maybe Wingate has started some immediately after Scott Burrell was injured. He went into the starting lineup, and he became ill and lost his starting spot and got a lot of bounces, but got the second one down. Third point for Wingate.
Pressing defense here by Charlotte. Catches Chicago by surprise.
Wingate with a second straight steal. Here's the Hornet break. Bennett. Wingate with a drive. Tried to leave it for Gaddison. Knocked away by Myers.
Sloppy play by both teams.
Pippen from Kerr.
That'll cure a lot of ills. Scottie Pippen soaring to the hoop.
He has a half dozen. The lead is 1 for Charlotte. Pippen is 3 for 3. And Charlotte getting it back as Curry picks it up. Can't hit the shot. Gaddison fighting Longley. Gaddison wins.
Gaddison is just back from as serious of an injury as you can have in professional basketball. Had his neck fused.
Kukoč wide open off a screen. 11 for Tony, game's leading scorer.
Gaddison is so valuable, and he's been playing really good basketball for Alan Bristow. Getting more comfortable and confident and smooth all the time.
Bennett misses a 3. Steve Kerr chases it down. Oh, great pass from Myers. Threaded it right through the defense to Kukoč for the layup. Beautiful pass by Myers.
Myers certainly ahead of Ron Harper in the rotation as playoff time comes. Phil Jackson's got some very difficult personnel moves to make as they decide on the playoff roster here in Chicago.
Curry comes off that screen, comes up firing but misses. Chicago now with a 1-point lead and the ball. Longley, low post. Gaddison over the back for the foul.
Chicago's fast break has been virtually unstoppable today. First with the jam on the run out by Pippen, no defensive matchup, and then a stationary defense. Kukoč just runs right through it. Charlotte needs a timeout.
And they get one.
An Eastern battle between the Magic and Knicks. Then the Sonics and Suns, Sunday.
Damn you. Every wall in the house for backboard.
He looks just like me anyway.
So I think he got that from me.
He can do that maneuvering and get by. I like to see Kenny when he steals. He can steal a ball. 58 feet out. Swish.
Makes me feel 10 feet tall.
Talk about him. Kenny would get it. Guess he got it from his mama.
America's best-selling car has an impressive new feature. Because right now, whether you buy or lease, you can get $1,000 cash back on your choice of any Ford Taurus model, sedan or wagon, or get $1,500 cash back on Taurus SHO. But don't wait to take advantage of this great offer on Taurus, because the deal that makes America's best-selling car an even better value won't last forever. Ford Taurus.
Miller Genuine Draft. The original cold filtered beer. As smooth as they come, as pure as it gets. For those who've discovered its smooth draft taste, the world's a very cool place.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Gatorade Thirst Quencher. For some, recess never ends. Life's a sport. Drink it up. By Schick Tracer. It traces every curve on your face. And by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately?
Battling for position inside. Tony Kukoč, we run it forward just a little bit right there. And stop it right there. The first step. Tony Kukoč is going to get it on Joe Wolf there. Steve Kerr will get the loose ball, but the streak out. And Joe Wolf a step late the entire way. The Bulls make him pay.
And a beautiful pass from Pete Myers to get it to Kukoč. Pippen and Kukoč have combined for 19 points on 9 of 10 shooting. There's a miss by Kukoč, rebounded by Wingate.
Interesting. Jordan comes in the game and Kukoč starts shooting again as we look at the top scorers today. Kukoč should do most of his shooting when Jordan's on the bench.
Wingate for 3, and Charlotte now is 1 of 9 from three-point range. They're the best in the NBA during the season. Jordan has returned. Wingate trying to guard him, gets help from Wolf.
Terrific pass. Tony Kukoč way outside.
And we were laughing with Will Perdue yesterday. We said, have you ever been hit in the head by one of those Jordan passes? He said, that's what he'll do. He says, always be ready because I will bang it right against your noggin.
If you hit the guy in the head, he owes you a six-pack.
Larry Johnson, Greg Sutton return for the Hornets as Bennett and Wolf go out. Longley passed up the shot initially and then missed it. Charlotte with 8.5 minutes left until halftime, trailing by 1.
Johnson in the post.
Wingate. Nice pass from the low post by Larry Johnson. Wingate has 5.
Too slow of a rotation and recognition by the weak side. Longley in particular. When Jordan goes to double team, you have to anticipate the pass coming.
Jordan shoots over Wingate. There's the shot. 8 for Michael.
They're just backing off. He hasn't even had an opportunity to go to the hoop tonight.
Bulls up 1.
No double team.
LJ against Kukoč. Now the double comes from Jordan. Fall away from LJ. No good.
They block out, keep your man from getting it, let guys like Jordan and Pippen swoop in. Clean the glass, and then off running on the dribble out.
Jordan's hit 2 in a row, and he's above 50% for the game. 10 points for Michael Jordan on 5 of 9 shooting. Off-balance shot by Sutton, but LJ at the offensive board, surrounded underneath. And a foul called on Chicago.
Jordan with all the time to get his rhythm, to get his legs underneath him. Second wind coming back after Jackson rests him for a few minutes, using the high screen. Robert Parrish with just not enough foot speed, but who does have the foot speed to step out there on Michael Jordan?
Luke Longley
he doesn't
commits
have
a foul. Curry misses the 3, and they're now 1 of 10 at the three-point arc. Longley lost it.
They're 1 of 10, and they're right in the game. They got Muggsy Bogues. It's not the kind of game that I think Chicago needs to play. It'll be a lot different story down there in the Charlotte Coliseum next Friday and Sunday in the playoffs.
Myers fouls Curry trying for the steal. Curry 0 for 4 shooting. They need to get him untracked if they have a chance to win on the road. 6:49 left. Bulls by 3. You're watching the NBA on NBC.
There are a lot of reasons why we created Ford Windstar to be the only leading minivan that combines standard dual airbags, 5-mile-an-hour bumpers, and standard anti-lock brakes. Many reasons for giving Windstar secure handling and making it longer for a smoother ride. We could acquaint you with some of these reasons, but why wake them up? Ford Windstar, created for the most important people in the world.
There are those who go flat out just for the fun of it, and those who don't. If you go after it like this, you work up a thirst. Now, how you choose to quench that thirst depends on the answer to this simple question. Are you a man or a mouse? Hey, life is a sport. Drink it up.
I'm writing because I have a very close friend who's being verbally abused by her parents. They tell her she's a failure, no good, and stupid. I told her to talk to the school counselor, but she's afraid her parents will find out and make things worse for her. She has thought about suicide many times, but someone was always there to convince her otherwise. I just worry that one day there won't be anyone there.
Shooting only 35% here at the United Center on the season. Michael is 5 of 9 to open this game. 10 points and 2 boards.
He's just been jumping over anybody who's come out on him. Michael Jordan has impressed his teammates, the new guys who weren't on the Bulls when they ran this 3 straight championships, but you look at the numbers this season, home and road, much better when that phone's not ringing and people don't want tickets.
He told us he already has 50 tickets for the playoff opener in Charlotte coming up next week. Of course, North Carolina, his home. Wilmington, about 2 hours from Charlotte. Bushler in for the Bulls committing the foul.
When I first joined the Celtics in '85, I was amazed as to how good Larry Bird was. I knew he was a great player, but not how good until you see him play each and every day. And that's what's happened with Kukoč and Longley and all the new guys.
Johnson, as Wennington comes to help Bushler, foul is called. It will be on Wennington. Charlotte's been 3.5 minutes without a field goal.
The first one up to lead the cheers with Larry Johnson's explosion to the hoop was Alonzo Mourning, who can't believe that he can't get in there and mix it up. One of the game's great warriors. Loves the big-time atmosphere.
And today we have 3 of the top 4 forwards in assists in the NBA on display. Grant Hill, the Pistons, the rookie, is number 2, but 3 of the top 4 on the floor today. Pippen has 1 so far. LJ with 3 assists.
Remarkable that 2 of them are on the same team. What are the guards doing besides spotting up from behind the line?
Shooting. Well, that's what guards are supposed to do. You big men never understand that.
You're supposed to inbound the ball and play some defense and listen to the coach a lot and do his laundry.
Wennington with a smile. Phil Jackson does not have a smile as Bill commits his second personal. Turns the ball over to the Hornets, trailing by 1.
Good pressure by Kerr on Sutton. Something you can get away with on Sutton. He's not going to blast by you and create for others.
Hornets right now as Curry still can't connect. He's 0 for 4. 0 for 5, actually.
Jordan is still the quickest to the ball. Still anticipates better than anyone where that rebound is going.
Shoots over Hawkins. Larry Johnson, he couldn't handle the rebound.
The Bulls don't appear to be anticipating that Jordan is going to shoot. We're sitting here watching. He's shot every time he's touched the ball. You got to get some offensive rebounds on those.
And he's averaging, what, 24 shots a game? You know he's going to put it up.
Because you're not being boxed out because your man is worried about Jordan's drive.
Pippen goes glass. Pretty shot for Scottie Pippen. He has 8.
You don't have Alonzo Mourning. You should get to the offensive glass time and time again in this game.
Pippen's hit all 4 of his shots to open the game. Sutton with a step on Kerr. He'll shoot 2. Second foul on Steve.
Sutton, who's been playing very well for Alan Bristow and the Hornets.
Greg Sutton is the line. He shoots 2.
Coming up tomorrow, we'll have an NBA doubleheader for you here on NBC. Game 1 matching the 2 top teams in the Atlantic, Orlando Magic and the New York Knicks, starting at 12:30 Eastern Time. Game 2, Charles Barkley and the Suns, Sean Kemp and the Sonics. And the NBA Game of the Week doubleheader. NBA Showtime gets it all started, 12:30 Eastern here on NBC.
A lot of pride on the line, even though the league standings already determined. Right now, New York and Phoenix back from the dead just a couple weeks ago. They're playing with more pride than anyone is Jordan.
Wennington puts it back.
I wish Jordan would have missed some of those shots like that when he scored 63 against the Celtics.
And you fouled out, didn't you?
Dennis Johnson and I fouled out. Embarrassing.
Missed it from underneath by the Chiefs. LJ with an offensive board. We told you earlier, Charlotte one of the poorest in the league in offensive rebounds, but LJ's gotten a couple. And it's their first field goal in 5 minutes.
The reason Charlotte's going to be a poor offensive rebounding team is because you got LJ. Oh, turnover. Careless by Sutton. That ball had no chance of being completed. But LJ and Alonzo Mourning, they're shooting the ball. And they often have to shoot fadeaways, so they're not in position to offensive rebound.
Talk about a shot, Steve Kerr. Bill Jackson said there were 2 players on his team that he never talked to about shooting. Their form was so good. Steve Kerr and B.J. Armstrong.
Steve Kerr's been averaging 12 points on 56% shooting the last 6 games.
Ball away, LJ draws air.
Did you ever see Phil Jackson shoot?
That's true. No wonder he doesn't say anything. Ball away, Pippen, his first miss of the game. Parrish out-rustled Bushler. Charlotte's hit only 1 of its last 7 shots. There's another pass broken up. This time, Pippen did the defensive play. Kerr, pull-up 3.
Alan Bristow's got to make a change at the point. Greg Sutton making poor decisions, throwing long, errant passes that have no chance of success. Pounded inside, let LJ handle it.
Bulls have their biggest lead. LJ's shot rims off to Bushler.
But at least you get a shot as opposed to a turnover.
Jordan against Hancock. No contest. Parrish coming to help. Commits the foul.
That's the first time today that anybody from Charlotte has got up in Jordan's face on the perimeter. Look what happens. Right to the hoop. You got to rotate. Jordan has always been right-handed, yet they're giving him the middle of the floor. You have to keep the great scores to the sideline and the baseline. Hancock will learn. He's just a rookie. Hancock out of Kansas. Great defensive instruction Hancock received at the hands of Roy Williams.
See the numbers for Michael so far. This is his first free throw attempt.
Michael Jordan has the NBA's second high game this year. Something that he still has a chance to get, but Glenn Rice's 56 was as good as it gets. Incredible percentage, winning performance as Jordan was, as Willie Burton was at 53.
Hancock just lost it. An unforced error. And Kerr tries to make him pay. He got it. Another three. 8 points for Kerr off the Chicago bench.
He's taken 3 shots in the last minute and a half on the same spot on the floor with no defensive adjustment by Charlotte. Turnovers time and time again.
Hancock misses, tapped in by Johnson. Points for Larry Johnson to lead all scorers.
The careless inbound pass. Bushler alert the exchange, and Kerr just spots up one more time. Nothing but net. No defense for the long bomb.
You're watching the NBA on NBC.
It's coming. To take cold, to take taste, to take smooth, to the extreme. Introducing Bud Ice. One ice that goes beyond the others. To take smooth, to the extreme. New Bud Ice.
Went out to buy a car. Dad said good luck. Saw my new Ford Ranger and said, son, that's a truck. My girlfriend loves the new inside. Now all she wants to do is ride. Mom sees the airbag and take heart. Finally, her boy's getting smart. My best friend pops the hood. Look for horsepower. That's good. Well, my boss says it takes the case. A truck with anti-lock brakes. So yeah, my Ford Ranger's really hot stuff. Now Dad asks,
can I borrow the truck?
What would it be like if everyone had the same face? The same face. Well, to get a comfortable shave, you wouldn't need a razor as flexible as the Schick Tracer. The Tracer bends to fit each individual face, leaving your unique face uniquely comfortable. The Schick Tracer. We're changing the face of shaving.
While The Nanny, Melrose Place, and Dave's World have reruns, we've got all new Bad Boys of NBC Monday.
Life is good.
First, the Fresh Prince has a new job as a bag boy.
What money?
Then, on the new hit In the House, Marion's in love.
All I want is you.
It's got a water bed. How come there's a mirror on your ceiling?
All new Labs, NBC Monday.
Here's what's coming up on the Prudential Halftime Report. We'll bring you Jim Gray's conversation with Magic Johnson. Magic has let it be known recently he'd like to play for the U.S. Olympic team in Atlanta in the summer of '96, and he'll talk with Jim Gray about that. We'll also get Peter Bessie and Julius Erving's reaction to what Magic Johnson might be thinking right now. That's coming up shortly. Right now, back to the United Center. Tom Hammond and Bill Walton are calling the game, but we go courtside to Jim Gray. Jim.
Well, thank you very much, Bob. Last week, Michael Jordan wanted to play with some of his original old Air Jordans, so he went into the closet, put them on, and they were a little tight on him. They almost didn't fit. He gave them to Ahmad Rashad to tell the story about his shoes. Well, today he went back into the closet because he figured something had to be wrong. Maybe he had too many socks on. Well, he went into the closet today, and this is what he found, an empty box of Air Jordan, so he's put out an all-points bulletin for Ahmad Rashad. He wants his shoes back. Tom?
Ahmad out on the memorabilia market.
That's right.
Quickly cashing in.
Wasting no time getting them on the market. There are the current edition of the Air Jordans. Pippen hits 2.
Shoes, the only real important piece of equipment in the game of basketball that you bring yourself. They better feel good. LJ playing the point guard, spreading the floor.
Charlotte's hit only 4 of 17 shots, 24% this quarter. LJ for three. That's their second tray in 11 attempts.
It worked that time, but I don't know. That's a long-range plan for Alan Briscoe to have LJ pound it, and then shoot a three.
Pippen in the double team finds Wennington to Bushler. Good ball movement, but no basket. Came right back to Bushler, though. Wennington. Jordan made the pass that time.
I just don't understand why you don't pass it to Jordan every time. Because if something good is going to happen.
Well, we can't pass it to him every time.
Why not?
Nobody will want to play.
I disagree, because he'll give it up, as he did in the game winner in the New York game, where he had 55 as LJ back-to-back three-pointers, same spot. He and Kerr in a shootout.
Well, we said before the game, it put a lot of pressure to score on LJ. He has 20 points. Pippen shoots over him, and Johnson grins at him.
Larry Johnson just not with the foot speed able. But he's saying, I can't guard you like that. But who can? Maybe Michael Jordan can.
Bennett off a screen from Gaddison, nothing there. Final minutes of the second quarter. LJ got inside and reversed it through. This is the Larry Johnson show, now with 22.
Great players make their teammates better, as Pippen answers right back.
And Johnson glares at him and then smiles.
Says, what are you doing? LJ, who you'd think would be getting a little bit tired, but he's the third in the NBA in minutes played, so he's fresh as a daisy at this point in the game.
Hancock from Hawkins. This has been a beautiful back and forth Scottie Pippen, Larry Johnson show. Steal by Hawkins, 2-on-2. Hawkins pulls up.
Not a good shot.
Air ball. Bennett saves it right to Wennington.
Hancock ran the floor very hard. One more second of patience by Hawkins.
Kerr from the old NBA range. He has 11 Chicago points and has hit all three of his trays.
Poor use of the shot clock the last time down by Charlotte. Now they got to try to battle back from being 10 down.
Final seconds of the half. Try to lob it inside to Hancock, and the Bulls will get the final shot. Bushler cannot get it away. So the first half comes to a close. Larry Johnson with 22 points has doubled Michael Jordan here in the first half. But Jordan and the Bulls have the lead. At the end of the first half from the United Center in Chicago, it's the Bulls 62 and the Hornets 52. You're watching the NBA on NBC.
America's best-selling car has an impressive new feature. Because right now, whether you buy or lease, you can get $1,000 cash back on your choice of any Ford Taurus model, sedan or wagon, or get $1,500 cash back on Taurus SHO. But don't wait to take advantage of this great offer on Taurus, because the deal that makes America's best-selling car an even better value won't last forever. Ford Taurus.
Yo, where I come from, man, the body is real talking. Don't even try it. Yo, man, where's my loot? Don't go there. What's up with that? Oh, no, she didn't. Ooh, and this, the shape. The real color thing. It's all real. You know what I'm saying?
The full catalog online was just the beginning. We could set up our own bookstore on the internet. Gramercy Press in cyberspace. Click the book they want right on the screen. Bingo. Next thing they know, they're reading the baby. Pay right with their credit card. It's secured. We can go to the school. Textbooks direct to the children's little hands. Cool. On the highway.
Announcing Taco Bell Border Lights. They're about taste. They're about flavor. They're about 6 grams of fat. What? Skeptical? You won't be, because this Sunday only, when you make any purchase, you can get a light taco or light bean burrito free. That white corn shell will cost you nada. Real light cheddar cheese, we're giving it away. Seasoned lean beef, coming at you. Sunday, make any purchase, get a light taco or light bean burrito free. Your skepticism just might bite the dust.
Sunday, an NBA doubleheader. Shaq leads the top team in the East, the Magic, when they come to New York to battle the Knicks in an Eastern Conference showdown. Then the top two teams in the Pacific Division go head-to-head as Kemp and the Sonics battle Barkley and the Suns. The final tune-up before the playoffs. Sunday at 12:30 Eastern on NBC. This is the Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by the Prudential. Peace of mind. It comes with every piece of the rock.
Halftime in Chicago, Bulls 62, Hornets 52, Pippen 15, Kukoč 13, Jordan 11 on 5 of 11. Steve Kerr also 11 points. Larry Johnson 22 points to lead the Hornets, so they trail by 10. Bob Costas along with Julius Erving and Peter Bessie, and we'll hear from each of them shortly. But let's start here with Magic Johnson, who retired from the NBA, of course, 3.5 years ago after learning he was HIV positive. Since then, Magic has played in an NBA All-Star game, the Barcelona Olympics, and attempted for a short while a comeback with the Lakers. In the last few weeks, he's made it clear he'd like to participate in the Atlanta Olympics next summer. He spoke with Jim Gray about it yesterday.
Irvin, why have you decided to do this? Why do you want to play in the Olympics?
Well, I've been playing basketball, I guess, since I played in the last Olympics, and I just want to bring maybe some leadership to the team and try to help us win another gold medal. I had the best time of my life at the Olympics, being on the team as well as being a part of the Olympics. And I would like to do the same thing. So if it's not as a player, it will be as a fan.
When you left in 1991, you announced that you were HIV positive. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us how you're feeling on that end?
Oh, I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great. We played over 100 games, and we played 45 real serious games, and which I played in for just about every minute of the game, averaging about 40 minutes a game. And so everything is great.
You'll be 36, almost 37 years old by the time next summer rolls around.
Yeah.
Will you be able to contribute what you could contribute several years ago at that age?
Oh, no question about it, because I'm 37 in age, but not in my body, because I'll be off in terms of not playing in the NBA for so long. My body has recovered, and the fact that I'm healthier now than I was when I decided to retire.
There are going to be a lot of people who are going to wonder if you taking a spot on this team or requesting a spot on this team will be fair, and won't that be displacing someone else who hasn't had the chance? What would be your response to that?
If they feel that I can't help the team, then I shouldn't be on it then. You know, if the committee feels that way. But if they feel that I can help it, then that shouldn't be the issue, whether I played on one or if it's been 20.
Do you feel as though you'll be one of the 12 best players in the world for this team come 1996?
Oh, yeah. I feel I'm one of the best already right now. That hasn't changed. You know, when Michael announced he was coming back, he's made my life miserable in a sense, because now everybody has asked me, when are you coming back? Why aren't you going back? So I'm going to kill him when I see him, and you let him know that. But,
well, when are you coming back? The playoff rosters have to be set on Monday. Are you thinking about coming back?
There's a thought. But I don't want to mess up what the Lakers have, you know, going on right now.
Is this in discussion, and will it be in discussion over the weekend?
I don't know. That's up to Jerry West. It's not up to me. I won't go to Coach Harris or Jerry and say, you know, I want to come back and so on. I would rather them come to me and say, you know, you should come on back. We need you. We can do something.
It's really obvious by what you're saying here, your feelings are such you'd like to come back.
I haven't said anything. You see the smile on my face, that should say it all.
Are you doing this at all to help others who have HIV and to make a statement?
That goes without saying. You know, you don't have to say you're doing it. That happens automatically. When I play on my tour, that helps them. When I speak at colleges and high schools, that helps.
When I'm running my company, that helps. When I'm on TV, it helps. So on and on. See, so every day, whatever I do, it helps them. Yes, when I'm in the Olympics, it magnifies that HIV/AIDS situation even that much more. And it educates people.
You don't have to answer this, but how are you beating this thing? I mean, not many of us know a lot about it, but what we do know is not a guy running around doing as well as you're doing for as long as you've been doing it.
Well, first of all, God has been blessing me, number one. He's watching out for me. And then I think, too, is that, I don't know. I think because I play and I work out, I keep my immune system healthy and strong, doing just all the right things, and it's helping. I mean, I'm as strong as a rock, and nothing has changed. It's been solid since. So, I don't know. I think God has just a lot to do with it.
If you've seen him play lately, there's little doubt he'd be good enough to make the Olympic team, but what do you think?
Very good. He was very good in high school, college, the pros.
Good point.
And at the Olympic level. He's a goodwill ambassador for basketball, and I think he has every right to be at the '96 Olympic Games. However, I really don't think he should be there as a player. I think he keeps delaying his entrance into the Hall of Fame every time he plays in these major events, and I'd like to be there when he goes in.
I think he definitely deserves to be there. It's terrific that he wants to play. Let's face it, if he were playing, we'd be begging him to play in these Olympics, and we'd be very honored to have his presence. And I've talked to a lot of members on that selection committee. They definitely want him there. Now that we got to go to Lenny Wilkins, who will be announced as the Olympic coach, to find out if he wants him there, and I'm sure he does too.
What about the hints of returning to the NBA in general, though?
You know, Magic Johnson told Jim Gray that if he had known in '91 that how he'd feel today, he never would have retired. I mean, his body is terrific, and he's kicking himself every day for retiring. If he was ready to give the commitment to come back, he can't come back for 15 games as a coach as he did again with the Lakers. He can't come back for a short time with the Lakers. He's got to come back full commitment. Then the Lakers would want him back as a power forward, probably.
Bob, I played till age 37, so it's possible.
No way, of course, for Magic to have known then what he knows now, and the atmosphere and the level of understanding was different then as well. Up next, we'll tell you about our doubleheader tomorrow and update the playoff picture. That's after this message from Prudential and a word from the NBA.
Financial concerns, medical problems, anxiety about the future. 50 million Americans turn for help to one particular company, a company whose sole purpose has always been to bring them to a different state of mind. Peace of mind, security, protection, optimism. Peace of mind. It comes with every piece of the rock.
Here's Michael at the foul line. A shot on Elo. Good! The Bulls win! They win! And now there's a steal by Bird. Underneath the DJ lane. Followed by Bird. Warning. The shot. Good! Give it over! This place is going crazy!
Okay, tomorrow on NBC, we have a doubleheader starting at 12:30 Eastern Time with Showtime. That precedes Orlando and New York from Madison Square Garden. Patrick Ewing has a strained hamstring, so we'll have to wait to see what his status is. Shaq and the Magic trying to win on the road where they've had their problems. Game 2, Sean Kemp and the Sonics no longer in the hunt in the Pacific against Charles Barkley's Suns. Phoenix, the Pacific Division champ, but they have incentive tomorrow. A Phoenix win combined with the Utah loss at Houston would give the Suns home court over the Jazz in a potential second-round matchup.
If they want a banner, I'll buy them one. But I got plenty of money. I'll buy them a Pacific Division banner and put it up. They want that, but I want the home court to stick around. So the game is huge for Sunday.
All right, now to a quick bit of NFL draft news. Cincinnati acquired the first pick in a trade with Carolina, and the Bengals took running back Ejana Carter out of Penn State. Jacksonville went for offensive lineman Tony Baselli from USC, and Steve McNair from Alcorn State was picked by the Oilers in the third spot. One other note, Warren Sapp who at one time was considered the best lineman in the draft and was a certain top 5 pick, slid all the way to 12th. Tampa Bay picked him, and this amid reports that Sapp had tested positive for marijuana and cocaine. Now back to the basketball. The Bulls lead the Hornets by 10, and we'll send it back to Chicago for the second half right after these messages from your local station.
This has been the Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by the Prudential. Peace of mind. It comes with every piece of the rock.
It's a special all-new NBC must-see TV Thursday.
Surprise!
On Mad About You, Cyndi Lauper, plus Paul insults Patrick Ewing. What'd you say? And on Hope and Gloria, Hope's new love's got a big secret. Then, an all-new Seinfeld so exciting, you'll be talking about...
A counterclockwise swirl.
And one of your favorite friends is leaving the show.
What?
Okay, it's Marcel the Monkey.
He's reached sexual maturity.
Hey, he beat you.
Plus an all-new ER, NBC Thursday.
My portraits have been shown around the world, inside of passports. Unfortunately, it was the only work I could get, no matter what I tried. Then I put an ad in the U.S. West Direct Yellow Pages. My consultant showed me how to get customers right when they're ready to buy. That ad paid for itself in no time. I was getting more jobs, better jobs. I really appreciate what the Yellow Pages has done for my business.
You ready?
Some days more than others.
It's the one that gets used. U.S. West Direct.
Over 15,000 of the #1 selling trucks in the Northwest. F-Series, Explorers, and Windstars, and Rangers for just $199 a month for 24 months. With a $500 incentive from Ford. Get the truck you want at the price you want, only at your local Northwest Ford dealer. But hurry, it's peak season for Ford trucks.
Join Ann Jagger Sunday morning at 8 on News Channel 8.
You're watching the NBA on NBC.
Not much sting in the Hornets today at halftime. The Bulls leading 62-52. Actually, Charlotte's pretty glad it brought Grandmama along, or they'd be in real trouble. Michael Jordan and the Bulls with easy shots in the first half, although Michael's still below 500 in his shooting.
5 for 11 shooting certainly is not bad at all. Jordan in 21 minutes, 11 shots. That's not enough. I think he should put it up quite more. We look at his shot selection for the first half. He was just very focused right in the center of the court, which is really good. That's what you want. You don't want shots taken from the corner, because when you do that and those shots miss, which they invariably do, it just leads to fast break opportunities. So Jordan is in complete control here, as are the rest of the Bulls, because when Pippen and Kukoč and Jordan combined for 17 for 27 shooting against a very good defensive team, although they're minus their stars in Mourning, that's just too easy.
Miller Lite halftime stats show the shooting. You see the Hornets, Larry Johnson's hit 9 of 15. The rest of the team is 12 of 33.
And Charlotte 3 for 12 from behind the line. They need more production from somebody else besides Johnson, who has certainly come to play in this big game. The assist in the first half, a clear edge to the Bulls, the ball movement, so many passers, so many guys with good hands who can finish. The type of shots they got, 59% shooting, and Scottie Pippen leading the team.
All right, we're ready to start the third quarter when we return with the Bulls leading the Hornets by 10.
What if there were no sports? If you couldn't join a team, what would you join? If you couldn't dream up touchdowns, what would you dream? What if you did something? What if you coached a team or put up a new rim? What if there were no sports? Would I still be your hero?
One engine was filled with Castrol Syntec, a full synthetic oil, the rest with conventional oils. They were then drained and started without oil to prove a point. You see, Syntec has a unique molecular structure that bonds to engine parts. Lab tests show it leaves a layer of protection far stronger than conventional oil. And if Syntec protects this well now, imagine if you leave it in. Castrol Syntec protects in ways other oils can't. Try Castrol Syntec, now also available in the 10W30.
Most manufacturers show their four-wheel drives in places where, quite honestly, you'll never go.
Billy! Billy!
But for exceptional comfort and control on your next adventure, you need the driver control system found only on the new Chevy Blazer. The all-new Chevy Blazer. It's nice to know it's there.
Hoop it up! The world's biggest 3-on-3 outdoor basketball tournament is coming to a city near you. Men and women on all levels of playing ability can compete. Call 1-900-288-HOOP for tour dates, cities, and entry information. It's 55 cents per minute with a 3-minute maximum call length. Under 18 requires parental permission. That's 1-900-288-HOOP.
Start the third quarter with the Bulls up 10, 62-52 on the Charlotte Hornets. Grandmama Larry Johnson, 22 points to lead all scorers, the only Hornet in double figures. Chicago has Pippen, Kukoč, Jordan, and Kerr all in double figures. Steve Kerr, by the way, in that second quarter, scored 11 points, 3 of 3 from behind the arc. Larry Johnson, Michael Jordan, two of the marquee players in the game on display today, and the Hornets come back with their original starting lineup. Backdoor cut, Purdue to Michael Jordan.
Three-man basketball, perfectly executed. Pippen up the floor, the flash post, and then Jordan on the back cut. That'll be wide open because they're trying to deny him the ball.
With Larry Johnson and Robert Parrish on the floor at the same time, it's kind of a lineup that has both Grandmama and Grandpa.
I think Robert Parrish is a grandpa. The step-through pass, perfect footwork by Will Purdue. Poor weak side rotation. You got to give up something against Jordan. I wouldn't test his ability to continue making this type of shot.
B.J. Armstrong committing the Chicago foul. Charlotte gets it back, facing their biggest deficit of the game. Hersey Hawkins finally finds the range. Before that, the Hornets' two shooters, Del Curry and Hersey Hawkins, were only 2 of 11, 0 for 5 from the arc. So it's good to see, if you're a Charlotte fan, Hawkins finally get off the snide.
Good defense will get the Hornets back in it, but the type of offense that got Hawkins that last shot is he misses once again a very difficult shot. The inside-out offense, though, initiated by the post threat of Larry Johnson, freeing up Hawkins.
Michael Jordan against the rookie Hancock. Baseline, the Chief got a piece. Parrish wide open from 14.
Parrish started the game with 2 quick buckets, gets a good block there, follows it up with a nice jumper. Seems that Charlotte needs to go away from him rather than continue to use him. When a guy is hot, go to him every time.
You're right, those were his first points since the first quarter. He has 6 in the game. Kukoč just turned and shot it, and Johnson the rebound.
That's a little bit too casual. That's the kind of play that'll get Michael Jordan right in your face. And Larry Johnson pulls the trigger on a long 3.
Now he's going to drive on Kukoč. Kukoč tries to body him. LJ falls away. Larry Johnson having quite an afternoon. That's 24 points.
Yet he still doesn't have a defensive rebound. And their point guard has 4. Greg Jordan hammered it, though. Hancock forced to front. Good defensive strategy. Jordan battling for that deep post position, reverses his field quickly. You got the big man Parrish right there. Don't foul down low, particularly since Chief just blocked a shot.
Second foul on Hancock. First against Charlotte as Michael toes the line. It's this end of the court that some of the Bulls have said the background, which seems to fade off into infinity, is tough, and some were questioning the basket itself, the rim, the backboard.
The NBA has got a seal on the toss-back aspect of the rim, prevent any tampering by the local teams. That would never happen in the NBA. Loosening the screws.
Just like the Boston Garden wouldn't have any dead spots on the floor.
One of the biggest complaints about the new building here is the angle of the light from the side shooting, much like the old Mecca up in Milwaukee, as Larry Johnson delivers once again.
Hancock an offensive board. Nicky Simpkins making his first appearance in the Bulls lineup, trying to check LJ. Got some help from Michael, still couldn't get it away. And laid in by Hawkins from LJ. 9 points for Hawkins, another assist for Johnson. Pippen misses a three. Simpkins the offensive rebound.
Charlotte is finally playing with some sort of offensive continuity. They're getting the ball to Larry Johnson time and time again. Bristow realizing that he's the only one who can create out there today.
Armstrong misses a wide open three. Here comes Charlotte right back. You see the rebounding story has the Hornets in front.
Charlotte, the worst rebounding team in the offensive end of the league, as you said earlier, Tom. Just doubling up on the Bulls. Bulls, I don't know if they're showing enough respect for Charlotte playing without Mourning and Bode.
First foul on Michael Jordan will send Hersey Hawkins to the stripe. Hawkins will probably hear it from his wife, Jennifer, when he gets home tonight. She's his biggest critic, and he was off to a slow start today, but maybe he can make up for it in the second half. And, of course, Hersey, one of the Iron Men. 214 consecutive starts.
The Stockton and Malone duo atop that list. Somebody asked me the other day about Stockton's bad back. I said, the guy's missed 4 games in 11 years. something more important than John Stockton's bad back.
What was your longest consecutive streak?
I think I played 4 games in a row.
I don't remember that. Chicago's missed 4 in a row. Armstrong's penetration. Purdue missed the putback. And Larry Johnson the rebound. Charlotte scratching right back into it.
First defensive rebound of the night, but Parrish doing the job, forcing the missed shot and tapping it out to Johnson.
Hawkins spotted for the three. Came up short. Larry Johnson the offensive board. Hawkins penetrates this time and gets the roll.
Hawkins showing more confidence, but Jordan now in the open court.
His pull-up goes. 17 for Michael. Bulls back by 3.
Real problem with guys like Hersey Hawkins trying to play Jordan is that not only is Jordan the best offensive player of the team, he's the best defensive player as well.
Ball fake, LJ hits the shot. Tapped in by the Chiefs.
A lot of the Bulls standing around. Will Purdue in vain. Scottie Pippen just watching.
Armstrong can't hit. Pippen knocks it out of bounds.
Will Purdue makes the first stab, but nobody gets in front. As B.J. Armstrong, Scottie Pippen just allow Chief to dominate the glass from the weak side.
Armstrong's gone cold. He hadn't scored since the first quarter.
Scottie Pippen, who leads the NBA in steals, ends up in every passing lane.
4 to shoot. LJ for 3. And Pippen all alone for the rebound. Scottie Pippen, he's had a hot hand today, hitting a high percentage, puts the Bulls back up by 3. He has 16.
Scottie Pippen is the first player since Dave Cowan to lead his team in points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks. He's pretty much doing everything. Cowan did it in 78.
5 different categories. LJ can't hit the reverse. Here's the outlet to Pippen. Charlotte back on defense, and Hersey Hawkins commits the foul. Larry Johnson has brought the Hornets back into it. You're watching the NBA on NBC.
In the House, starring LL Cool J and Debbie Allen, NBC Monday.
Dad?
Yeah?
There's something I want to tell you.
What is it, son?
Well, Dad, you're my dad. And I love you, man.
You're not getting my Bud Light, Johnny.
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
Ray, forget it, Johnny.
Your kid watches TV. He sees an action hero. He wants the action hero. You go looking for the action hero. Not the green one, not the red one, but the blue action hero. First store is out of action heroes. The fifth store only has red action heroes. You find a store that has the blue action hero. You buy it, he breaks it. You need a new blue action hero. Luckily, you bought it with your Citibank card. They'll take care of it. It's that simple. Now, who's the action hero?
To those whose idea of luxury is any place they can take a load off, Chevy introduces our all-new interior with the comfort of available leather, the security of an airbag, and the pleasure of power-adjustable lumbar seats. You could say these guys are sitting pretty. We just wouldn't advise it.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. By Nike, who encourages you to participate in the lives of America's youth. And by Bud Light. If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
Tom Hammond, Bill Walton, and Jim Gray at the United Center. Michael Jordan has hit 7 of 14, 17 points. If you're with us at halftime, you heard Magic Johnson tell Jim Gray that he wanted to return to the Lakers and to the Olympic team. And before the game, we asked Michael Jordan his reaction to that.
I think what the public's starting to see with myself and with Magic, and if Bird was healthy enough and probably was about 40 pounds lighter, we truly love the game of basketball. And it's not the money, and it's not really the fame. It's the love that we have for the game. And I think with Magic thinking of that and wanting to come back, he still loves the game, as I do. And I don't have any problem with that. You know, I think everyone should have an opportunity to share that love if they still can participate. So I think it'd be good for the game of basketball.
The great thing about watching guys like Jordan, Bird, and Magic was that when you saw them play, you never thought they were playing for money. You thought they were just playing to win and to have a good time out there and enjoy themselves.
Well, after all, Magic is the co-owner and vice president of the Lakers. If he wants to come back, who's going to tell him no? He also, Dr. Jerry Buss might, huh? We asked Michael also about if he might return to the Olympic team if Magic comes back, and he said, no way. Give the younger players a chance. He's had 2 Olympic experiences, and let the young guys have it. 2 baskets in a row now by B.J. Armstrong.
I don't believe you can be an owner and a player at the same time in the NBA. Magic, I think, would have to give up that ownership position. Offensive foul.
Not a problem you run into very often. Darren Hancock's the foul. That's his 3rd.
Hancock showing flashes of a very good play out there. He doesn't get that many minutes. He's, of course, playing behind Scott Burrell, who's out for the season, probably part of next season as well.
Hancock playing the entry pass to Jordan, commits number 4.
Welcome to the NBA, Darren Hancock. After a year in France, the flash post is just too late. You cannot play Michael Jordan and let him make the first move when he's trying to establish his post position. Ricky Simpkins looking very confused.
Look lost.
So give it to Michael Jordan.
Yeah, not a bad rule of thumb. And now L.J. posting Simpkins.
So many dribbles and no double team.
No double team comes. L.J. sinks it. Larry Johnson now with 26 points. And Charlotte back within 5. Armstrong. Since the timeout, he has scored 7 points. He has 12 for the game.
BJ's been shooting very well the last couple games, over 57%. Been up and down this year so many times. Just not enough shot attempts. Like Percy Hawkins, a quiet, unassertive season for them.
Johnson draws the crowd this time and will shoot 2.
Unlike the bullish attitude of Larry Johnson, who's just saying, give me the ball and get out of the way. I'm going right to the hoop. He's shot like Jordan virtually every time he's touched it.
Wolf and Gaddison return for the Hornets.
LJ's been in a little bit of a slump himself with 35% over the last 4 games, although he has turned into a great free throw shooter.
Doubleheader tomorrow. We'll have Orlando and New York in the first game. NBA Showtime tips it off at 12:30. Second game matching Seattle and Phoenix. NBA doubleheader here on NBC tomorrow, starting at 12:30 Eastern.
Amazing what Gary Payton has been able to do with that broken finger for Seattle.
Luke Longley returns for the Bulls. 4.5 minutes to play, third quarter. Chicago leads by 7.
Charlotte's won 4 out of their last 5 road games.
Sutton almost got it away from Jordan. And here's Armstrong, spotted for the 3. Somebody better guard him.
You have to give up something. You got to double team Jordan. You got to double team Pippen when they're in somewhat of a range. Pippen forces an errant play out of bounds. B.J. Armstrong just spotting up, doesn't even move, just stands. Give Phil Jackson the credit to know how to put a team together. Find spot-up shooters like B.J. Armstrong, John Paxson, and Steve Kerr.
Larry Johnson again, barging to the hoop, draws the foul from Luke Longley. Second on Longley.
And speaking of Phil Jackson, also get lots of big guys who can foul at will and not worried because you got 2 other guys that can come in and foul at will.
Here are the numbers on LJ. He's hit 3 of 4 at the line. And in the series, the playoff series, assuming Morning's return, that'll be the Chicago strategy, won't it, to have Purdue, Wennington, and Longley, 18 fouls in the post, lean on him all day.
And force him stand up over the top. Alonzo, not one of the tallest centers, and all of these Chicago centers are well over 7 feet tall with that long wingspan. Just force him to take the fade away, get on the glass, and off to the races with Pippen, Jordan, and Kukoč.
Longley shooting over the smaller Larry Johnson. First 2 for the 7-footer.
Chicago has been able to do whatever they wanted, basically all day. Post up Kukoč, post up Longley that time, Jordan from the perimeter, Pippen on the drive.
5 on the shot clock. Kicked out of bounds. It will be a kick. That means a fresh 24 on the shot clock.
Talked about the fouls for Chicago. Alonzo Mourning, 3rd in free throws made this year behind David Robinson and Karl Malone. They'll need that badly to battle this Chicago team in the playoffs.
Most car manufacturers build their prototypes by hand. But we built the all-new Lumina prototypes on a prototype assembly line. We put it together, took it apart, then redesigned it so we could make it better when it went to production. Took us 18 months. But one thing's certain, there's quality in the build. Something we don't charge extra for. Guess that's what makes it a genuine Chevrolet.
We're at McDonald's All-Star Showdown. Sylvester is so wounded, it will explode.
Hurry to McDonald's for Michael Jordan's McBacon Deluxe. 2 tempting all-beef patties and savory bacon for a limited time.
It's good!
Break for yours today.
Gentlemen, I smell business opportunity somewhere.
Where?
By the time these guys notice how much opportunity the sports and entertainment industry holds,
This way? I don't know.
the most exciting opportunity of all
That way? Maybe.
will be gone.
This way?
That way.
Because Madison Square Garden is already part of ITT. For 75 years, ITT, the one to follow.
When a puck is flying at you at 90 miles an hour, I can't let hunger get in my way, so I grab a Snickers.
Packed with peanuts, milk, chocolate, and caramel. Nothing stops your hunger like a Snickers.
Excuse me, come in through.
You gotta have soul in times of strife. You gotta have right in times of wrong. You got friends, and man, that's all you need. This time, it's your time. Time to to live what's in your mind. You got no time for no time. All you have is now. This time is your time.
NBC Wednesday, for the first time ever, Steven Spielberg unlocked the secrets behind Jurassic Park.
The audience has to believe to take the journey.
See the modern magic that made these Stone Age creatures come to life. Before you watch the movie on NBC, get a front row seat for the making of Jurassic Park, 8/7 Central, NBC Wednesday.
Earlier today, Michael Jordan had a warm greeting for Johnny Bach, the Charlotte Hornets assistant coach, longtime Chicago assistant. In fact, was here for the 3 straight championship years, and now Bach on the other end of the court with some mixed feelings, but we were asking him and Coach Alan Bristow if Johnny were the secret weapon for the Hornets in the playoff series coming up, and they said, well, he certainly does know the Chicago.
I think Michael Jordan was telling Coach Bach, don't tell him what works against me.
Actually, we asked Johnny about that, too, about defensing Michael Jordan, and he said, well, nobody's figured it out yet. And I don't have the answer either, although it's a team thing. It has to be a team concept, not individual.
You used to be able to get away with double teaming Jordan every single time, but with the development of Pippen, with the addition of guys like John Paxson, B.J. Armstrong, Horace Grant before he left as a free agent, that story is just not the same anymore.
When the teams are at full strength, the Bulls have trouble matching up with Alonzo Mourning and Larry Johnson, but of course then the Hornets have trouble matching up with Jordan and Pippen.
And that will be the story and the determining factor in next week's playoff game as B.J. Armstrong turns a baseline out of bounds opportunity for Charlotte into a breakaway layup.
B.J. Armstrong has been the hero of this third quarter. He has a dozen in the third with 2:20 left. And Charlotte had gotten within 1, and they see the Bulls now blow it back out to 12.
Steve Kerr, who was great with 11 first-half points, can't get off the bench.
Curry misses. He's had a bad shooting day. He just is not back after missing 10 games with an injury. He's 0 for 6.
Great ball.
That's what they came to see.
4 guys touching the ball after Luke Longley starts the fast break. Over the shoulder, no look pass Jordan. A sense of where you are.
Bennett. Essentially, Tony Bennett and Michael Adams, who is inactive today, are in a tryout for the final backup point guard spot on the Charlotte playoff roster. There's a lob to Jordan. Pippen made the pass.
Just can't understand why you would ever allow Jordan to go back door. He's going to make that 100% of the time. The game of percentages make him do something that he might miss on.
If we can determine what that is. Whoa. Joe the jump hook. Former Tar Heel.
The Charlotte defense, this is a throwback game for Charlotte defensively because they have developed and changed their style. They're one of the league's best defensive teams. 5th in field goal opponent percentage. 6th in scoring opponents.
Dirty ball movement is contagious.
When your best player passes the ball as willingly and as well as Michael Jordan, then everybody gets in the act.
Bennett's in trouble. To Gaddison. Longley got a piece of that one. 2 straight blocks for Luke Longley.
They could play for last shot, or they could just shoot another 3 and count that one.
You see the time left in the third. Why not? And Curry from midcourt as the third quarter ends.
Del Curry, who just doesn't have his legs underneath him. Here's a guy who does. Michael Jordan had 18 months off, quite fresh at the basket. The passing, though, to Luke Longley The defense collapses. Kukoč finally realizes, get on the move when Jordan has the ball. Layup at will.
Big quarter for B.J. Armstrong and the Bulls. We'll be back after these messages from your local station. You're watching the NBA on NBC.
No automotive company has won more races over the last 30 years than Chevrolet.
To whom it may concern, my mother abuses me and tells me if I tell anyone, she will let some bad person take me away. If you don't believe me, you can ask my sister. The last time, my mother slapped me in the face and my nose started bleeding. I wish I could find a new family far away who's going to be nice to me. And the family doesn't have to be rich. Can you help me do that? P.S. Don't forget, a family that's very nice and far away from here.
In the House, starring LL Cool J and Debbie Allen, NBC Monday.
Over 15,000 trucks. A colossal selection of the #1 selling trucks in the Northwest. F-Series, Explorers, Rangers, and Windstars, with up to $1,750 cash back on the Windstar. Get the truck you want at the price you want, only at your local Northwest Ford dealer. But hurry, it's peak season for Ford trucks.
For cars that can benefit from higher octane, Texaco Clean System 3 Power Plus and Power Premium were formulated to clean your engine's intake valves, fuel injectors, and combustion chambers while you're driving. To give you smooth start and sure acceleration. Just give us 5 tanks, and we think Power Plus and Power Premium will make quite an impression on you.
Add more life to your car. Take it to the star.
Sky 8, only on Northwest News Channel 8.
This copyrighted telecast of the National Basketball Association may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of the NBA.
The injury-riddled Hornets had the lead after the first period, but since that time, it's been all Chicago. And at times, they've been brilliant in their ball handling.
As the Hornets shoot a long-range jumper, all the Bulls are running out while the Hornets standing still. Longley will get the rebound. Over the top to Pippen. One dribble. The cross court to Armstrong in the post. And Kukoč the trailer. 5 men involved. One bounce. Slam dunk. Doesn't get better than that.
Fourth quarter.
And that's why the Bulls are putting fear into everyone's eyes in the NBA right now.
And an ominous sign for the Hornets today has been the play of Del Curry, who figured to be key for them in the playoff series against Chicago. If they stack their defense inside to stop Alonzo Mourning, you figure Curry might be open coming off some screens or for some outside shots. He is 0 for 9 today.
Curry needs the power players to play great. He needs LJ to have a solid inside game, which he has had. Mourning hasn't played. He needs picks from Gaddison. And he needs to get his feet set, but Phil Jackson, one of the best at taking one-dimensional players like Curry out of the game. Pippen in the post.
Kukoč had a foot on the line.
More good ball movement. Pete Myers that time caught in no man's land, and I don't want it.
19 points for Tony Kukoč. Curry off that screen. First basket of the day. 1 of 10.
The screen by Gaddison. Gaddison and Curry play together in practice on the second unit all day. They know each other's games intricately.
Gaddison poked it away from Longley. And Longley hit it last, apparently.
Longley, who's missed 23 games this year with an ankle sprain and a stress fracture of the same ankle. Got himself back in shape, lost a bunch of that weight that he put on.
Curry with a backdoor cut, couldn't get the handle, missed the shot. Gaddison saves. But right to Chicago. Pippen leads a 3-on-2 break. Kukoč, no look to Myers, who'll shoot two. Foul on Wingate. Another beautiful Chicago fast break.
Pete Myers, who played all last year in Michael Jordan's place, rejoined the team after an early season contract dispute. Will go to the line, and from the looks of today's game, you would have to say that he would be in the playoff rotation for Phil Jackson without Ron Harper, who did not play in the last game and not played today.
Jackson has moved Myers up in his rotation. There's Harper, who hasn't gotten in the game.
Big off-season free agent addition. Large money spent willingly at the thought that Jordan would not be back.
Crowd going loose. They love those red-headed centers.
How many dribbles? You're supposed to get that one done in one move.
We've got a timeout. 9:57 left in the game.
An Eastern battle between the Magic and Knicks. Then the Sonics and Suns. Sunday.
Perhaps more inspiring than its 210 horsepower engine is its 210-watt stereo.
Even as things change, one thing remains the same. Over the long term, nothing, not bonds, not cash, not gold, nothing has outperformed the stock market.
If you had one wish every 15 years, wouldn't this be it? The 1995 Page Plant North American Tour. The genuine rock of Jimmy Page and Robert Plant, brought together by Miller Genuine Draft. The guitar, voice, and beer of rock and roll.
Miller Genuine Draft presents Genuine Moments. Today's Miller Genuine Draft Genuine Moment pays tribute to some of this season's statistical leaders. They're the leaders in assists. The perennial leader, John Stockton, once again atop the heap. And Muggsy Bogues, unable to play today, 4th in the league. Alonzo Mourning of the Hornets is 5th in the league in block shots. Dikembe Mutombo of Denver, again, is the leader. And in steals, Chicago's Scottie Pippen tops in the league, averaging nearly 3 steals a game. In recognition of this moment, Miller Genuine Draft will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. There are those two statistical leaders, Alonzo Mourning on the left, Muggsy Bogues on the right, and expected to be back for the playoffs. Ron Harper is in the game. First appearance as Longley with a jam in the face of Gaddison.
Pull the basket down to your level and then dunk it.
In front of his hero, Bill Walton, who got to see that sparkling move.
We talked about Alonzo Mourning, Mourning and Bogues' contributions. Larry Johnson was spectacular in the first half, 22 points on 9 of 15. Since then, 2 for 7 shooting and 7 points. All of that in the third quarter. Nothing yet for LJ in the fourth. Luke Longley wheeling and dealing, delivering the smash.
Growing up in the Perth, Australia area, he said the only player he could get tapes of, films of, as a 13 or 14-year-old was Bill Walton. Just coincidence now that he was also a red-headed center. The 7'2" Longley was actually brought along to help as the coach came to see another player, and he caught his eye, Gary Colson.
Gary Colson came to see Andrew Vlahov, who was a big star down in Australia, ended up playing at Stanford. Longley came along as sort of like the dummy to play against Vlahov.
Now, wait a minute.
And he didn't even have his shoes on. He was out there dunking around in the basketball court barefooted. And Gary Colson says, young man, I think I've got something for you to do for the next 15 to 20 years of your life.
Longley has played on 2 Australian Olympic basketball teams. In fact, his dad tried out for the team. His dad was an Australian rules football player who later started a club basketball team in the Perth area.
Ron Harper finally in the game, but looking a little tentative, as you would expect with the few minutes that Harper gets. Longley, though, with a big, beautiful beachfront ranch just outside of Perth, Australia, where he spends his summertime days.
You'll remember last season, Longley and Alonzo Mourning got in a fight that resulted in a game suspension for Alonzo, which arguably cost the Hornets a trip to the playoffs. He told us, Alonzo did yesterday, that he learned by that mistake. It was a mistake that he readily admits now, and he wouldn't let it happen again. The new, mature Alonzo Mourning.
And I think you also have a situation where you're seeing a mature Alonzo Mourning is choosing not to play today, knowing the importance of that knee. It was a very physical game against New York, which is Mourning's style. Oh, nice touch pass.
Longley, who made the rebound, and you may thought you heard all you wanted to know about Luke Longley, but we have not yet gotten into his recipe for kangaroo stew, which was in a local Chicago cookbook. We asked him about it. He said it was a little tough to get kangaroo meat here. Gaddison, Longley blocked it.
Longley is 7'2". Gaddison's about 6'7", and he's just trying to go right into his face underneath the hoop.
Can we pick who to talk about or not? Jumping like a kangaroo, Luke Longley has been the star of the fourth quarter so far. Pete Myers gets into the action.
With Larry Johnson on the bench, there's just not a lot that Charlotte can do at this point. You got Del Curry being the playmaker. Kenny Gaddison trying to finish.
He tried it again, but this time he got fouled. Harper commits the foul. We have a timeout. 6:38 left in the game. The Bulls firmly in control.
This is Mickey Gordon.
No basket! No basket after the buzzer! Are you crazy? No, you didn't get it off, Charles. Yes, I did. You didn't get it off. You're wrong.
A man whose very existence brings out the best in people.
You wake up and you lost it! I hate your guts! I hope you die!
I like being a referee.
You're out of here, Curry! What are you doing? This is my farewell game. Well, let me be the first to say farewell!
I love being a referee.
What are you laughing at? Nothing. That's a technical lying.
Did you always want to be a referee?
No, I started out as a player.
Oh?
What are you looking at?
No.
What, that I'm vertically challenged?
Hey, David, come on. You're making $5 million a year. You could be in a submarine bumping into a periscope.
Castle Rock Entertainment presents Billy Crystal and Deborah Winger
You're a disturbed person, aren't you?
You have no idea.
in a comedy about love, Aftermath.
You know something? You're the only one I can talk to.
Forget Paris. Rated PG-13 at theaters May 19th.
Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft. The cold one. You know the beer. You know the taste. With Miller Genuine Draft, the world's a very cool place.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Mitsubishi, the new thinking in automobiles. By McDonald's, the official break of the NBA. Have you had your break today? And by cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft, making the world a very cool place.
We're back at the United Center in Chicago, where Jim Gray is standing by with one of the Hornets' wounded warriors. Jim?
I am with Alonzo Mourning. Alonzo banged up his knee against Patrick Ewing on Thursday night in a massive collision between a couple of big fellas there. You have the tendonitis. It's been an ongoing problem. Will you be okay for the playoffs?
Definitely. I'll be all right during the playoffs. You know, I'm just looking forward to the playoffs. You know, tendonitis has been something that's been bothering me all year, and it's just a situation where I banged it in the game against the Knicks. You know, but it won't keep me out of the playoffs.
In simpler terms, if this was a playoff game where you had to play, you could have today?
Without a doubt. You know, I would have pushed through it. I played under painful situations before, you know, so I would have definitely played if this was a must-win situation.
Alonzo, the Bulls are having their way today. What will the Hornets have to do to attack the Bulls, and what do you feel their weaknesses are?
Well, we're definitely going to have to play a whole lot better defense than we showed today. We're going to have to play better defense and push it down inside to Larry and myself, you know, and I think our transition game is going to be very important, and our health is going to be very important. You know, we got to get Muggsy back and myself back on our feet. We're going to be all right.
You're not frightened by Michael Jordan in the Bulls?
No, they can't be beaten, without a doubt. You know, Mike is very talented, but they can't be beaten.
Alonzo, feel better. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks a lot.
Tom and Bill?
All right, Jim.
The week is going to have to be spent with some serious huddling between Bristow, Bowles, Alonzo Mourning, Larry Johnson, to develop a strategy that will work against this team, Chicago, that has had its way as Harper finds the range. I think Alonzo Mourning is going to have to play the best ball of his life for that series, not only as a scorer and rebounder, shot blocker, and team leader, but also as a passer.
Alan Bristow was saying he thought the key to their series would be tempo. He said, I can't believe I'm saying this, but we want to slow the tempo down to play more of a half-court game and not let the Bulls and Michael Jordan get free in the open court. Simpkins.
It would be very difficult to play a fast break game against Chicago. They have so much depth, so many weapons.
Of course, a couple of years ago, the Hornets were one of the premier run-and-gun teams in the NBA, but the philosophy has changed, as you've noticed a couple times, or mentioned a couple of times. If you're wondering about Michael Jordan, 33 minutes today, 19 points.
And sitting on his favorite chair from the old Chicago Stadium that Jim Gray brought over here for him today.
Ross Schneiderman, looking up the playoff minutes that Michael has averaged in his 111 career playoff games, and he's averaged, Bill, almost 42 minutes a game in the playoffs, so he will need to have his legs back, as you believe he has.
And that's one of the reasons why Phil Jackson plays him so much. He's trying to get him in shape to play those big minutes. The playoffs, a lot different story. No travel. You got 2 and 3 days between every game. Rarely will you have a back-to-back situation. But you got a situation where the superstars play basically the entire game, every playoff timeout.
And Jordan's shooting today was right at 50% on 8 of 16, which is an improvement over his 35% shooting here in the United Center in 16 games that he's been back. Those are the home court shooting figures. Curry pops in a long-range 2. 4 points in the game for Curry. He's only shot 2 of 13.
Curry needs a three-pointer to break that club record that he already holds for most three-pointers in a season. He's been just inside the line all day long as the Bulls guilty of a traveling violation.
Yeah, Curry with 152 three-point field goals to set the Charlotte record last year. And he's 0 for 6 from the three-point arc. Bushler got a gift right into his hands. 2-on-1 break. Now 3-on-1 as the trailer Simpkins gets the slam. His first basket, and the Bulls are really getting balanced scoring. Everybody playing today, and they've had a total of every player but Judd Bushler to get into the scoring column.
The Hornets just can't score. Finally, Wingate, but they're at 87 points in a game that's been pretty free-flowing, been up and down. This is a team, when they score, Charlotte, over 100 points on the road, they win. They're 15-1 in situations like that this year. They won't get to 100 today. They won't win.
And the string of 10 straight games, the Hornets holding their opponents under 100 points. By the wayside, of course, Alonzo Mourning, who is integral to their defense, missing today.
I would say so. I don't think that you'd be talking about the Hornets as a defensive team at all without Alonzo Mourning's presence on the franchise. And remember, Alan Bristow, his basketball philosophy comes from Doug Moe.
Which is run and gun. Johnny Bach has helped put a little defensive slant on things this season, and it's been a philosophy that Bristow has embraced.
And done it very, very well. He's got a situation where he's coaching the players that he has rather than forcing them to play his style. Harper.
Meanwhile, heading to the playoffs, the Bulls apparently are playing their best basketball since Michael's return. Would you agree with that?
Exactly. This is a team that won 8 out of 10 games before Jordan came back. They're 12 out of 15 since he's been here. They're on track.
You're watching NBC, the premier sports television network.
Give me 10 more good reps, man. No, that's not it. I'll tell you what it is. Now give me one more. One more. One more. Keep us on.
With 33% more carbos than Gatorade, it's Powerade.
Give me 10 more good reps, man.
We're at McDonald's All-Star Showdown. Sylvester is surrounded. He breaks through. He scores. Let's see that in slow-mo.
McBacon Deluxe.
Make way for Michael Jordan's McBacon Deluxe. 2 all-beef patties topped with savory bacon. It's McDonald's Taste of the Month for a limited time.
Sure is.
Michael Jordan's McBacon Deluxe.
Have you had your break today?
Open the gate from the comfort of your new Galant. Introducing the Mitsubishi HomeLink system, a new level of security and convenience available exclusively on one midsize sedan. Turn on the lights. Open the garage door. HomeLink. Imagine the possibilities. From Mitsubishi, the new thinking in automobiles.
While the Nanny, Melrose Place, and Dave's World have reruns, we've got all new Bad Boys of NBC Mondays.
Life is good.
First, the Fresh Prince has a new job as a bag boy.
What money?
Then, on the new hit In the House, Marion's in love.
All I want is you.
It's got a waterbed. How come there's a mirror on your ceiling?
All new Labs, NBC Mondays.
Smiles all around for the Chicago Bulls today as they're putting it on the Charlotte Hornets. Tom Hammond, Bill Walton, and Jim Gray, along with Don McGinnis, our producer, Bucky Gunts, our director. Happy to come back and see this beautiful new place with Michael Jordan getting his team ready for the playoffs. He's had not only a physical impact on this team, but a mental impact as well.
I think what Michael Jordan has done for the Bulls in terms of bringing them up to this level of we can win any game, any time, which they're basically doing at this point. Only 3 losses since Jordan has been back. The inexplicable one, the one at Cleveland, where Jordan missed the game winner at the buzzer. But the 2 losses to Indiana and Orlando, those are legitimate losses, but Chicago is so much better. And Jordan, he pushes his teammates. He pushes them to a level that the rest of the league doesn't want to play against them. They don't think they can win, and that's the biggest edge that Jordan can give this Bull team.
And it's become a team that, as Curry goes for the Charlotte record from three-point range and still can't hit, it's a team that everyone fears here as the playoffs approach, isn't it?
Well, Jordan plays so hard, and he plays to win every game. His level of professionalism, his ability to come out and work harder than anybody else in practice inspires everyone to come out and believe that they can be the great player, the determining factor.
So next week, the Eastern Conference playoffs look like this: Orlando and Boston, Charlotte against Chicago, New York, Cleveland, and Indiana, Atlanta. What catches your eye in those matchups?
Orlando, Boston. Boston playing very well, although the embarrassing defeat in the closing last night at the hands of the Knicks. Pat Riley is smiling today. Another great feather in his cap. And also this Charlotte-Chicago series, just terrific. Because you'll see a different Charlotte team than today. In fact, Alan Bristow can look at this game and say, hey, we lulled them to sleep. They're going to come in way overconfident next week. And Chicago has to win on the road.
That'll be a little disturbing to Charlotte, having lost in the last week a couple of games at home when they had big leads, Atlanta and the Knicks.
Without Muggsy, they can't score. That's the problem. He's the one that gives them the easy basket, creates on the fast break, faces the floor, penetrates. The double dunk doesn't work by Bushmer and Simpkins.
Wolf for three. Bad looking shot. Curry puts it back.
That's what kind of day it's been for Charlotte. You got Joe Wolf shooting an air ball off the glass, and then you got Del Curry on the offensive stick back.
Final minute from the United Center. Charlotte had a first period lead, but Chicago took control. Kerr for three. Steve Kerr has 14 points as the Chicago bench getting minutes today and coming through. Kerr is 4 for 4 from the three-point arc.
Steve Kerr is an incredibly valuable player. Has been right back with a three of his own. Steve Kerr, I think, has developed into a quality role player that Phil Jackson can count on and is really a significant contributor to this Bull offense. And defense.
Patient Simpkins. They can't finish. Pretty move by Hancock.
Hancock can finish on the break. Right now, though, the Bulls just trying to get to practice.
So in a playoff preview that was skewed somewhat by the absence of Mourning and Bogue, the Chicago Bulls make it no contest. Bennett misses a three at the horn. So the Chicago Bulls win it 116-100. Michael Jordan playing 33 minutes, hitting 50% of his shots, and finishing with 19 points. And now they'll look forward to their best-of-5 playoff series starting next week. 116-100, Chicago wins. We'll be back to the United Center in just a moment.
Perhaps more inspiring than its 210 horsepower engine is its 210-watt stereo system.
This looks pretty good stuff right here. This wrinkle someone's tennis life.
Next is Lady. Exceptional sheen. Oh, very good color. Prince. Hands. Oh, such stateliness, such majesty.
Larry? Larry!
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
The best of show? More?
Sunday, an NBA doubleheader. Shaq leads the top team in the East, the Magic, when they come to New York to battle the Knicks in an Eastern Conference showdown. Then the top two teams in the Pacific Division go head-to-head as Kemp and the Sonics battle Barkley and the Suns. The final tune-up before the playoffs. Sunday at 12:30 Eastern on NBC. This is is the NBA on NBC.
116-100, the Bulls win. Larry Johnson, a big offensive day for the Hornets. 29 points, lead all scorers. Michael Jordan hit 50% of his shots, 19 points in 33 minutes, and the Chicago Bulls just looked super today. They are hitting on all cylinders as the playoffs approach.
It was beautiful to watch. The passing, the teamwork, the rebounding, the running the floor, the spacing, the outside shooting. Charlotte, they've got a ton of work ahead of them this week. They've got to focus in on a strategy, get a strategy that they think will work most importantly, and it's going to have to involve great field goal percentage shooting and solid rebounding by the Hornets if they're going to have a chance against this fine, fine Bull team.
Well, just a few moments ago, our Jim Gray spoke with Michael Jordan.
Okay, we're joined by Michael Jordan. Michael, you had a very good game today. Your shooting touch seemed to come back.
Well, I'm getting more comfortable. The more times I play here, the more comfortable I'm going to become. I mean, it took the Bulls and took a lot of other teams a lot of time to come in here and shoot well here. It's going to take me some time, but I'm starting to feel a little bit more comfortable.
Can you assess the chemistry of the team? It seemed like the passing lanes were being filled better today. Guys had their heads up, no balls bouncing off guys' heads and so forth. Is the chemistry a little better now?
Yeah, I think it's a lot better than 3 weeks ago. I think we all are starting to look for passes from each other. We know where each other are on the floor, and I think that means a lot, you know, especially going into the playoffs right now.
A month into your comeback, how would you assess the Bulls' chances in the playoffs?
I don't think we're the favorite, but that's good. You know, I think we're not the underdogs either, so that's good. I think we got a good chance. I think we just got to play solid basketball. We've finished the season on a good note. We just got carried into the playoffs.
Are you happy to see your chair back?
Yeah, I'm glad to see your chair back. Thanks.
All right, Michael, thanks for joining us. Back to you, Tom.
His old chair from the Chicago Stadium on hand. Maybe that was a good luck charm. Do you like this team's chances in the playoffs?
Yes, I do. I think Michael Jordan is mistaken. I think the Bulls are the favorite along with Orlando in the Eastern Conference, but they play very well from the lead position. Very few teams can do that like the Bulls.
And the Bulls win it easily over the Charlotte Hornets today, 116-100. We'll be right back to Chicago after this.
Son, life is like prime time in the NBA.
Either you hunt with the hounds or don't get off the porch. And when you drain, you rain.
Now, this activity makes you thirsty.
Fortunately, the NBA has Gatorade, the sports drink the league plays on. And play on, you must.
That's life.
Say it with me now. Life is a sport. Drink it up.
Open the gate from the comfort of your new Galant. Introducing the Mitsubishi HomeLink system, a new level of security and convenience available exclusively on one midsize sedan. Turn on the lights. Open the garage door. HomeLink. Imagine the possibilities. From Mitsubishi, the new thinking in automobiles.
There's nothing like it. The feeling you can get just from being on the court. The electricity of a chanting crowd. The piercing glare of an opposing player. The confidence knowing that your whole crew is focused on the same thing. One moment you're down, the next you're up. It's an emotional roller coaster. But it's a ride that I hope never ends.
Next weekend, the NBA playoffs come to NBC. Saturday at 12:30, a doubleheader. First, the Cavs play the Knicks. In Game 2, the Lakers take on the Sonics. Then Sunday at 12 noon, a blockbuster tripleheader. First, the Magic beat the Celtics. The Suns face the Blazers. Then the Bulls and Hornets in prime time. All next weekend on NBC.
Michael Jordan had his shooting eye back today, hitting 8 of 16 and finishing with 19 points. Now still to come, a look at the playoffs, an interview with Reggie Miller of the Pacers, and the latest from NBC News on the Oklahoma City bombing. For all of that, let's go to Bob Costas in New York. Bob?
All right, Tom, thanks very much. One of the last things Tom Hammond mentioned was that Michael Jordan shot 8 of 16 for the game. He had 19 points, played 33 minutes. First time he shot 50% or better at the United Center, and if he is gaining his shooting eye there, it comes just in time. I hesitate to believe, Peter Vesey, that you could agree with Bill Walton twice in one day. He made a point on the pregame show, and you nodded yes, and he just said that he thinks the Bulls are now the favorite, unless I misheard him, to come out of the East and go to the finals. Agree or disagree?
He said the Bulls in Orlando, and I really feel comfortable, again, disagreeing with Bill. I believe it's the Pacers and the Knicks. I believe in the playoffs, the physical team, the brutality is going to take over. The athleticism will take a back seat to that. I don't think that either Orlando or Chicago is still capable of beating Indiana or Knicks in a 7-game series. Doc?
Yeah, I don't think the Bulls would be the logical choice to be regarded as the favorite in the East. I think you have to stay with Orlando and stay with New York. New York being the finalist last year. Generally, one of the two teams that play in the finals the previous year go back, and it doesn't look like Houston's going to make it, so the law of averages is favoring the Knicks there. But the Bulls are a scary, scary team. With each passing day, they get better and better, more comfortable with one another, and they're winning more convincingly.
Before we hear from Reggie Miller, just to clarify, so people can mark it down and come back and check in a couple of months or whatever it takes, assuming that the Knicks are going to beat the Cavs and the Pacers are going to beat the Hawks, you like the Knick-Pacer winner over the Orlando-Chicago Bull winner, assuming Chicago beats Charlotte in this next round.
This is true, Bob, but I'll tell you one thing. I don't think the Cavaliers are going to be any pushover for the Knicks. I've got a lot of faith in the Cavaliers. They're a tough team, well coached. I said that, Mike. I did. I really did.
Well, one team that hasn't received its due last year or this, certainly they've gotten their due from Peter Vesey because he just told you to watch out for them. But in general, when you talk about a national profile, the Indiana Pacers don't have that. They played in the Eastern Conference Finals last year, though, and they were within a win of reaching the NBA Finals, losing, as you know, to the Knicks in Game 7. This year, they're the champs of the Central, and they meet Atlanta in an opening round series starting next Thursday. Now, back in February at the All-Star Game, I had a chance to speak with the Pacers star, Reggie Miller. Roll it. What was it like in the Pacer locker room immediately after Game 7? In a sense, it had been a wonderful season, and you'd come a lot farther than some people thought you would. On the other hand, when you get that close and you have a shot...
Right. I felt more upset for players like LaSalle Thompson and Vern Fleming. Those guys had really been the heart and soul of our team, and I didn't want this to be their last shot. I think that was the pact we were making this year, to try to get back to where we were at. It was very quiet in that locker room, though.
Who do you see as the team to beat in the East?
Well, I think everyone's going to say the front runner right now is Orlando because they have the best record in the East, but people fail to realize they haven't won one playoff game yet. And you need that experience, and right now, you know, the team with the most experience is the New York Knicks. To me, I think they're a clear-cut favorite in the East, even though they're up and down and they're a little bit older, and you know, Orlando has the fresh legs and the youth. You need that experience, and that means so much.
Reggie, the three-point line comes in. You don't like it?
No, not at all.
Why not?
You're making average shooters great shooters now, and it takes away. Now they think Dan Mully is a fantastic shooter. Well, he has always been a fantastic shooter, but now, you know, he's bigger than life because of this 22-point line. It puts more... How are you going to go down and double Shaquille O'Neal now when Nick Anderson and Dennis Scott are now... You know, that's what we wanted to do last year in the playoffs when we went down to double, is give those guys that 23.9 shot. Now it's tough to go down and double them because out of the rotations, these guys are hitting 22-footers.
Recently, your sister, Cheryl Miller, was voted into the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Right.
She's a year older than you are.
Right.
How old were you before you could beat her one-on-one?
Wow. 8th or 9th grade. She was always so much taller and stronger than I was. So when I entered high school, that's when I started to grow. And beating her that one time, after that, it was pretty much routine. But I used to get my behind beat a lot out there on the playground.
What were those playground games like? And would guys get frustrated when they found out that she had better skills than they did and maybe get rough?
Well, when we would go to the playground, I'd tell Cheryl to wait in the bushes, and I'd see the two guys over there playing, and I'd walk up and ask them if they wanted to play 2-on-2. And they're like, sure, but, you know, where's your other partner at? And I'd whistle, and Cheryl would run out, and they would start laughing. A girl, come on, you got to be kidding me. I'd tell them let's play to 10 by 1s, and for $10 or so. And they say, sure, fine. And, you know, they'd get up 5-0. I'd look at Cheryl. Cheryl look at me. We'd wink. And next thing you know, it's 10-5. And they're getting frustrated at this, wanting to fight and so forth. And, you know, 10-5, we're on our way to McDonald's for a Happy Meal. So, you know, it was great growing up. But I think a lot of guys understood my frustration growing up because she used to dominate me so much, they could understand, wow, you know, how could a woman play this great?
Great female athletes have to be appreciated on their own terms.
Right.
Take your sister Cheryl at her peak. Could she have played in the NBA? Could she have been the 11th or 12th person on a roster?
At her prime, before the knee surgery, when she was winning championships and winning gold medals, I would say yes. People ask me, how good was Cheryl? And I tell them like this: she could dunk like Michael, she could pass like Magic, and she could shoot like Larry. She was all three of those players wrapped in one. When you went to go see Cheryl Miller play, it was like, you know, going to Broadway or something, going to a show, because you saw it all.
Reggie Miller heading for the playoffs, and Cheryl Miller, as you know now, the women's basketball coach at her alma mater, USC, and I understand she has a connection to you.
A couple of connections. As a matter of fact, after a 105-point game in high school, she came to Philadelphia and threatened to take my job in 5 years. And it's a real story. She honored me this year in February when she got inducted into the Hall of Fame by asking me to escort her in.
Listen, if Reggie says that she could do all those things that he says, how did he beat her in the 8th and 9th grade? That's what I want to know.
What about his assessment that at her peak, if you could remove the psychological obstacles, the resentment that might get in the way, on pure basketball ability, she could have made a roster, 11th, 12th person on a roster in the NBA? Think so?
You know, I think Annie Myers was the first to try as a woman, and she hung in there with the Indiana Pacers through training camp. And this general consensus that Cheryl might be a little bit better than Annie. Not a whole lot better, but a little bit better.
Let's turn to the Pacers' chances again in the playoffs. You think they can make it to the finals? You think either they or the Knicks will come out of the East? What has to fall into place for them?
Bob, they're so deep. I think they've got Reggie Miller and Rick Smits as the number 1, number 2 scorers. Derek McKee has to step up every night and be that third scorer. We already know that he's one of the best defensive players in the league. Dale Davis, the prototype power forward, gets no acknowledgement around the league. Antonio Davis, they're deep. They've got 8 or 9 guys, and that's what it takes to win a championship.
All right, let's turn our attentions now to something considerably more serious. In the aftermath of the tragic bombing this past week at the Federal Building in Oklahoma City, Tom Brokaw remains in Oklahoma City, and he joins us now with this live report. Tom?
Bob, misery is being visited upon misery here. We've had a long day of very cold rains and high winds. The search has been suspended a number of times, but let us take you inside that wreckage now, courtesy of FEMA, which is the Federal Emergency Management Administration. This is their videotape. That's very tedious work. We think that maybe 150, perhaps as many as 200 people still entombed in that wreckage. It's now been 80 hours since the explosion. On the investigation front, this is the man that people are still looking for. He is suspect number 2. We don't know where he is. He's about 5'11". He weighs 180 pounds, and he has a tattoo. The man who has been arrested, Timothy McVeigh, 26 years old. He was arrested on a traffic warrant on the day of the explosion. He is now in federal custody. He was arraigned last night at Tinker Air Force Base. We don't know where he is incarcerated at the moment. And in Kansas, still another man has been put in manacles and taken to a federal penitentiary, but he is not yet an official suspect. He is there with his brother. That is Terry Nickel. His brother is James Nickel. They were well known in the upper part of Michigan for having extreme anti-government points of view, and that apparently was the motivation for this devastating explosion that occurred on Wednesday shortly after 9 here in Oklahoma City. Bob, one more thing. Tomorrow is a national day of mourning, and of course the concentration for that will be here in Oklahoma. There's a statewide memorial service at 3 Central Time tomorrow afternoon. President Clinton will be attending. Governor Frank Keating and his wife will be presiding, and the principal speaker will be the Reverend Billy Graham.
Tom, thanks very much for the report. And to you folks watching, we wanted to bring you that information as best we could. It is always an awkward transition from the relatively inconsequential matters which we bring you here as we cover sports to a story like that. But we must go back and forth, and now in the moments that remain before 6 o'clock Eastern Time to wrap up the day of basketball activity, let's go back to the United Center in Chicago and rejoin Tom Hammond, who is with Bill Walton. Tom.
All right, thank you, Bob. We echo your sentiments. Here the Bulls won over the Hornets, 116-100, and a couple of moments ago, Jim Gray talked with Phil Jackson, the Bulls coach.
Now joined by Phil Jackson. Phil, can you assess how the team is playing? It seems as though the chemistry has gotten better and better over the month or so that Michael's been back.
Well, we're playing harder. I think our defense is a little better. The real thing about it is we're getting more shots, and we're getting better attempts at the basket, better type of shots. As you can see, BJ and Steve Kerr had some three-pointers, are pretty blank shots for those guys. They're great three-point shooters. And I think the ball movement is better. Our penetration has been pretty good. Michael's not shooting great, but the effect on the team has been dramatic.
Can you learn much with Muggsy out and Alonzo Mourning? Can you learn much about playing the Hornets with all these injuries?
No, you're absolutely right. This is a game in which we played pretty close to the chest. They didn't show a whole lot, and without Muggsy generating the energy for their offense, defensively putting the pressure and being kind of like the ultimate Hornet, buzzing around and doing some damage out there. Mourning, the shot blocker that he is and the force that he is in the post, they gave us a pretty small look at who they are.
Looking ahead to the playoffs, what area of their team do you feel you can attack? If you want to tell us, which I'm sure you do.
Well, the obvious place you always look to attack is to Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. They're the best players on the ball club as far as offensive players. And from there on out, what are they going to do to compensate to help each other out against those two guys? Scottie, they did a pretty good job today with him in transition, even though he had a hot hand a little bit in the second quarter. He turned the ball over, and, they got him, overhandling the ball a little bit. Michael didn't have a good shooting night, but, just his effort on the ball and their focus on who he was got easy shots for Will Perdue, Bill Wennington, and, Tony Kukoč. So those are the things that we anticipate will be our attack.
Phil, thanks for coming out. We appreciate it. Good luck in the playoffs. Back out to you, Tom.
All right, Jim. Charlotte led by Larry Johnson with 29, Michael Jordan and Tony Kukoč 19 to lead the Chicago attack as the Bulls win 116-100. Now be sure to join us tomorrow to wrap up the regular season with an NBA doubleheader. Game 1, the two top teams in the Atlantic clash as Shaq and the Magic take on Patrick Ewing and the Knicks. Then in Game 2, we'll go out west. Charles Barkley and the Suns hosting Sean Kemp and the Sonics. It all gets started at 12:30 p.m. Eastern with NBA Showtime tomorrow here on NBC. So for Bill Walton and Jim Gray, this is Tom Hammond saying so long from Chicago. You've been watching the NBA on NBC.
Where America turns for the best in sports television.
At 8:15 Eastern following prime time. A week ago Thursday night, right? Doug Flutie, birthday boy this weekend, just 36.